Forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
A little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Built Right, one location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy one dinner, get one free tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, including steak and lobster. And desserts are buy one, get one free. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Tuesday, March 11th. Your top story, Ukraine agrees to a ceasefire.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure, at risk of losing federal funding.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Starting off with a crash. It's on the on-ramp from Good Hope Road to northbound 41, so watch out for that. Then we've got southbound 41. We've got backups from Hampton all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound on 43, that's going to be delayed right around the North Avenue curve up towards Keith. Everything else is rolling along just fine. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Ukraine has accepted a U.S. proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire with Russia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
We'll take this offer now to the Russians, and we hope that they'll say yes, that they'll say yes to peace. The ball is now in their court.
The U.S. has agreed to lift its suspension on intelligence sharing with Ukraine and resume weapons shipments to the country, which were paused 10 days ago.
Ontario has made a U-turn and will not put a threatened 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
It also comes after the White House press briefing where Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, when we were there, she was really standing by and defending President's decision to double those tariffs on Canada, as well as really calling what the Premier of Ontario was saying was making a, quote, egregious and insulting comment threatening to shut down our electricity for the American people. She also kind of downplayed the effect on the stock markets over the last several days and even hours, partially because of these tariffs.
President Trump's additional tariff on Canada was supposed to begin tomorrow.
Federal investigators are now looking for the cause of the January air collision in Washington, D.C. that killed 67 people. They want a temporary ban on some helicopter flights made permanent. National Transportation Safety Board Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy.
As that deadline nears, we remain concerned about the significant potential for a future mid-air collision at DCA, which is why we are recommending a permanent solution today.
Homendy said that under the current practice, helicopters and planes can be as close as 75 feet apart from each other during landing.
Here locally, the clock is ticking on getting a real ID. This is the federally compliant license for people who are traveling through U.S. airports or visiting federal buildings. Federal Security Director for TSA Wisconsin, Mark Lenve.
Beginning May 7th, transportation security officers with the TSA at our nation's airports will start enforcing the real ID requirements at our ticket document checker positions. Individuals without a real ID would be delayed in going through our TSA screening process, and that delay could be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes trying to get through TSA security checkpoints.
And you know you have a Wisconsin Real ID if it has that star in the top right-hand corner.
Coming up, the one U.S. state capital without a Starbucks. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 3:04.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and Chris are joined by Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 3:06. While Starbucks is the largest coffee franchise in the world, there's one state capital that doesn't have one.
No matter where you are in the country, you're likely to see the green Starbucks logo calling you in for a caffeine fix. There are about 17,000 locations across the U.S., but there is no Starbucks in Montpelier, Vermont. Why? Well, Montpelier is tiny. It covers just over 10 square miles and has only about 8,000 residents. It also has local tax laws that say any large corporations that set up shop in the town are subject to an 8.5% tax on any profits above $25,000, which is one big reason Starbucks isn't there. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It's the eve of the NFL league year and official free agent signing period. The Packers agree to terms with offensive lineman Aaron Banks and cornerback Nate Hobbs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly in conversations with Aaron Rodgers. Yes.
What?
Yes. What? it. The Bucks post up against in Indianapolis tonight against the Pacers. Head coach Doc Rivers is now looking for a bounce back after back-to-back losses.
Just got to keep building with the new guys to get them acclimated. We got to be consistent in the way we play. Every time we play right, it's hard to beat us. And every time we don't, anyone can beat us.
Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6 o'clock.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time approaching 3:08.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. Happy New Year. How's business? Do you really know? We recently worked with several clients who thought they knew, but they didn't because their books were not in order. Imagine thinking you were making $1 million, but because your books are a mess, you were really only making $200,000. Quite a difference. Imagine finding out expenses were not recorded properly or sales were double recorded. If these happen to you, we can help. We work with our clients to clean up their books and give them the information they need to know where their business is now and where it is going in the future. Don't wait. Start on the path to less stress, more cash in your pocket, and no more sleepless nights. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net today to book a meeting. We can talk over Zoom, the phone, in our office, or your place of business. Yes, we like to visit our business clients. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Toya Washington.
Pretty interesting what's going on right now because the markets just closed down more than 1%, down 478, S&P 500 down 42, down 0.75%, and NASDAQ down 32. And President Trump is speaking in front of the White House next to Elon Musk, and behind them, in between them and the White House, is a Cybertruck, and he's answering a lot of questions about the market. And we're trying to gather more. He says he does not see a recession and the market does not concern him. That's what the president is saying. So we are staying on top of that. And what else do we have?
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Okay, let's do some happy news. I really love this. This is so beautiful. Dwayne Wade was a guest on the Today Show's Jenna and Friends, and he talked about his love for Marquette.
The men's basketball team at Marquette University, the alma mater of my guest co-host today, Dwayne Wade. And I know that Marquette is a really special place for you.
It's very special. My experience at Marquette is really a core part, Jenna, of who I am. I'm always trying to pay it forward to the next generation of students.
And he surprised Toya, a Marquette freshman named Kennedy, who's majoring in psychology, social media. She shared how she loves living on campus, also loves Dwayne Wade, but her family cannot afford room and board anymore. So she was really bummed when she was missing out on seeing D. Wade just visiting the campus recently. But the Today Show flew her out for her favorite basketball player to surprise her with this.
So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is about seeing students get the experience at Marquette to the fullest, like I was able to have. So I have a surprise for you.
Okay.
I'm excited to officially name you the first ever Wade Scholar, which means you are receiving a full room and board scholarship, covering all costs for you. But stay on campus next year. You're not going home. You will be on campus at Marquette University because you deserve to be there. You deserve to walk the streets of Marquette.
Thank you.
And so you're the first Wade Scholar.
Wade Scholar.
So awesome.
That.
I do too. See, this is why when I say that I want to be stupid rich, it's so that I can do good things like that. Not just to have the money, but to give it away.
Number 2. Rick Springfield. The 75-year-old made a big health revelation to his fans that he's been suffering from brain damage. He took a tumble off a stage 25 years ago while he was performing in Las Vegas in 2000. Fell more than 20 feet right onto his head. Then he says wood came down the stage and hit his head again. He thought at the time he just hurt or broke his wrist in that terrible fall. But it turns out he did a full body MRI scan, and he says he has brain damage from that fall. And he's just realizing now, and he tells people, be an advocate for yourself. He says his dad died from not wanting to know. He thought he had something bad with his stomach, had stomach cancer, and died. He says, You know, if that's a giant message to me. If you want to live long, you have to be prepared for some bad news now and then.
Mm-hmm. And be a self-advocate for sure.
Absolutely. And number 3, how big would a plane have to be to have 12 bathrooms?
I didn't even realize that there were planes that had this many bathrooms on it. I mean, I guess it makes sense when you're traveling as far as this flight.
Yes, this one was Air India, took off from O'Hare, headed to Delhi. Well, it had to turn around because 8 of them were clogged.
8 toilets.
They found the culprit. It was someone trying to dump things, including clothing, down the loos. Why would you do that? I do not know. But again, the plane took off from Chicago, was already over the Atlantic, and they had to turn around.
Oh, can you imagine?
What
I would be
a
so
headache.
upset. So upset.
Me too. Wisconsin's Afternoon News continues with ABC News State Department correspondent Chris Baccia as the U.S. is in Saudi Arabia to begin huddling for talks about ending the war, starting with that 30-day ceasefire. Wisconsin's Afternoon News returns next.
While the Indiana underdogs may have won in the movie,
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, in my book, we're going to be winners.
those Hollywood fairy tales don't work when we're in town.
Damian Lillard lets it fly again, and he is locked in right now. Damian Lillard.
The Bucks head to Indiana to take on the Pacers.
4 3-pointers.
Our Bucks radio game day coverage starts tonight at 6. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield makes vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lozica, how are the roads?
Well, we still have this accident. It is on the on-ramp from Good Hope Road to northbound 41, so heads up with that. On the southbound side, slowing down just before Hampton, all the way down past Capitol. We've got northbound on 43 slowing down around the North Avenue curve all the way up to Keefe. Southbound still looking pretty good. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes as you head past Fond du Lac Avenue. Westbound on 94 also have a little bit of a brake check all the way through the stadium interchange, basically to Mitchell Boulevard. Once you get past that, you are good to go into Waukesha County. I'm Debbie Lozica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny, you can see the sun, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Thursday, partly cloudy, 50 at the lake, 58 inland. Friday, so good, 71 inland. Yes.
You going to travel out west to me? That's
yes.
it. Yes.
I'm going your place.
All right.
61 by me at the lake. And then Saturday, scattered showers, mainly early. It'll be windy, a high of 57 degrees. Right now, it's sunny and 36 degrees. Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Dracamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDracamp.com. You can always subscribe to our podcast. Everything we do is podcasted. Text WAN. It stands for Wisconsin's Afternoon News. WAN to 855-616-1620. At 3:17, Ukraine is willing to accept a 30-day ceasefire with Russia after talks with the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Chris Baccia is an ABC News reporter with the State Department. Chris, can you tell me, how did they get to that? Because it was after hours of Russia shooting down more than 300 Ukrainian drones.
That's right. And there were 7 hours of talks today in Saudi Arabia between the Ukrainians and the Americans. Of course, this comes after what was seen across the world as a disastrous Oval Office meeting between President Zelensky and President Trump here in Washington. Now the two countries have gotten together to talk in Saudi Arabia, and they've come out of this meeting with some real solid deliverables. The Ukrainians and the Americans say they are ready for a 30-day ceasefire. Now, they are, of course, not the two parties in this war. They acknowledge completely that Russia will have to accept that. So what comes out of this meeting is Secretary Rubio, the American Secretary of State, says that the message is going straight to Moscow about this 30-day ceasefire possibility. And if the Russians sign on, we know the Ukrainians are ready to do it, and that the war would cease fire for 30 days under the joint agreement that the U.S. and Ukraine agreed to today.
So how soon will they talk to Russia, and for Russia to agree? How soon could that happen?
It's unclear, but the Secretary of State says as soon as possible, and he didn't set a deadline, which would have given us a little bit more clarity on, well, when does the U.S. and Ukraine expect an answer to that question? We don't know exactly. It has been reported that Steve Witkoff, the president's special envoy to the Middle East, who's been involved in negotiations on Russia and Ukraine as well, it's been reported that he's going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin and to bring this directly to him. The Secretary of State said it'll go through multiple channels and it'll be clearly delivered as a message from the United States that this is the American proposal for 30 days to cease fire, and in that period to talk about a larger settlement.
Is there talk about how soon President Trump may meet face-to-face with Vladimir Putin?
I think American officials think that's putting the cart a bit before the horse. They don't seem to be ready to engage in that question, but they also haven't said it isn't a possibility. They seem to be very open to it, and Secretary Rubio said that President Trump doesn't see that as any sort of concession, the notion of having a conversation with Vladimir Putin. So we know it's on the table. We know Saudi Arabia has been raised as a possible mediator. They've now mediated 2 critical meetings, the first one between the U.S. and Russia, and now this one between the U.S. and Ukraine. So a host is perhaps lined up in that sense, but we just don't know at this point if that would come at any time in the near future.
Is it somewhat a shock that we've gotten, as we all witness the president and President Vladimir meeting? Yes. How did we get? I guess it is interesting to me that we've gotten to a good spot to at least come back to the table. I guess, do you have any insight as to kind of what happened behind the scenes to kind of mend that fence between now and what we witnessed, a week ago?
It's a good question, and diplomacy is all about carrots and sticks, and that felt like a moment where President Trump wanted to levy a stick against Ukraine with that public dressing down of a president in the Oval Office, something that we have never seen before in Washington. So we don't necessarily know how we got from point A to point B today, but we do know that the Ukrainians relented on some of the things that the President Trump was upset about. Pretty quickly he expressed gratitude and he pretty quickly expressed an interest in the minerals deal, which was at the heart of that conversation in Washington. It wasn't at the heart of conversations today. So the minerals deal is something that the Ukrainians have begun to play ball on a little bit more, it seems, and that seems to have made President Trump happy. Of course, after that Oval Office meeting, the U.S. ended its intelligence sharing with Ukraine and it paused military aid. Now, that was unprecedented and something that would really represent a stick in the form of all of these negotiations and trying to push Ukraine to what the U.S. wanted. And we know after today's meeting that what they really want is a 30-day ceasefire. Now, as far as a concession given back the other way, the U.S. in its joint statement with Ukraine after the meeting said that they'll be lifting that pause, that intelligence sharing will resume, and that military aid will resume. So that is a significant development, perhaps even the headline out of this meeting today. The 30-day ceasefire is very much hypothetical because the Russians will have to sign on, and I don't know that any analysts think that that's likely. It's not impossible, but it will be a stretch for Vladimir Putin to agree to halt the fighting that he began in Ukraine. But the U.S. will resume its intelligence sharing, which it had stopped, and its military aid after that Oval Office meeting.
And Chris, can you just describe the 300 Ukrainian drones that were going into Russia, what they were doing, but were all of them shut down by Russia? Because it was escalating, and hopefully there's now a pause.
Yeah, these drones into Moscow have been something that the Ukrainians have used as a way to punch back. Early in the war, it wasn't something they were able to do, but their drone capability has been extraordinary. And Volodymyr Zelensky says it's among, or even perhaps the best in the world, and they've built that up through the war. This is a way for the Ukrainians to show that this is not a simply one-sided war. They've managed to actually take some territory in the Kursk region of Russia, which is the significant incursion that they formed. Although the territory that they've grabbed there seems to be turning the other way, as has been the case in this war. But this is a clear signal that ceasefire certainly feels like a hypothetical at this point, because Russia is firing on the Ukrainians and vice versa. So certainly the Ukrainians want to make it clear that as long as there is no ceasefire, they're able to fight. They're able to fight back.
Chris Baccia is the ABC News reporter for the State Department. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time for News About Your Money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow down more than 1% on the day, down 478. S&P 500 down 0.75%, down 42, and NASDAQ is down 32. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry. If you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economwalk Dental Care has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. And in addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Listen, we all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economwalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels, at Economwalk Dental Care.
According to the Census Bureau, more than 12,000 Americans are turning 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. 65 is traditional retirement age because it matches up with Medicare, but Gallup found 61 is the average retirement age. Some Annex clients retire early, but we also have clients working at 70 because they love what they do. You know why? Because they've got plans built by fee-only fiduciaries, plans custom-tailored to their lifestyle. They identify their wants and needs, and we went to work building investment, retirement, tax, and estate plans in their best interest. Proper retirement planning doesn't start the week before you retire. Having a focused plan built by our in-house teams will go a long way in helping you reach the retirement you desire. It all starts with the conversation you probably already have in the back of your mind. It's time to put that into action and contact Annex. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes and is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you'll be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive, professional servers and bartenders. You'll make great cash. Inquire today. Start next week. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 3:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story: backing off on imposing an electricity surcharge.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure today. The Piano Man postpones his Milwaukee performance.
I'm Debbie Loziga. Southbound on 41, backing up from just south of Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Still have that on-ramp from Good Hope Road to northbound 41 with the crash there, so just be careful. Northbound on 43, backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Keefe. And the westbound 94, we got backups from 20th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound, slowing from 84th Street past 76th Street. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, you get to see the sun, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Right now, it's sunny and 36 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, stocks are in another free fall today after President Trump's announcement of even steeper tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum imports. The president said on social media that a 50% tariff will be imposed tomorrow after Ontario's Premier, Doug Ford, vowed to retaliate. Ford has rescinded the planned 25% surcharge on electricity it ships to the U.S., but it is unclear whether the president's 50% tariff threat will be rescinded. ABC's Mary Alice Parks.
Still big questions, though, about the rest of these tariffs. The president has not backed down, and Canada has not backed down on everything else on the table. And if anything, we heard Caroline Leavitt today and the president over the last few days double down.
Businesses and investors here in the U.S. are worried about the looming trade war, as costs could also be passed on to the consumer.
A possible breakthrough in the 3-year-long war between Russia and Ukraine, an agreement between Washington and Kyiv on a proposed pause in fighting.
The proposal's for an immediate 30-day ceasefire. Secretary of State Rubio announced it as he emerged from talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with top Ukrainian officials.
Our hope is that the Russians will say yes, that they will also agree, so the shooting will stop, the killing will stop, the dying will stop, and the talks can begin about how to end this war permanently in a way that's acceptable and enduring for both sides.
The Trump administration says it will now lift its recent pause on intelligence sharing and security assistance for Ukraine. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Federal investigators recommending a permanent ban on some helicopter flights near Reagan National Airport after that deadly mid-air collision in January. NTSB Chairman Jennifer Homendy warns that helicopters and planes landing at Reagan Airport are very close on some routes.
75 feet is very close. That is far too close of a proximity. We have stated it's an intolerable risk to aviation safety.
A preliminary investigation finds in more than half of encounters between planes and helicopters from 2011 to 2024, the choppers may have been above altitude restrictions.
Southwest Airlines is changing the way you fly on the low-cost carrier as they start to charge passengers for checked bags. CBS News correspondent Janet Shellman has more.
We also know that there has been an investor who's been an activist trying to get Southwest towards more profitability, but it's really turning Southwest into an airline sort of like the others. I mean, this is what differentiated this airline for decades.
This breaks the nearly 54 years of the baggage policy.
Wisconsin's largest public university is at risk of losing a portion of their federal funding if they fail to protect Jewish students. A letter from the Department of Education lists UW-Madison among 60 colleges and universities warned about possible loss of funds. Last year, pro-Palestinian student encampments led to fear among some Jewish students. UW-Madison currently has 2 open Title VI investigations against it, alleging violations relating to anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination.
Sales are plunging at Menominee Falls-based Kohl's.
The fourth quarter net income at Kohl's dropped 74% from a year ago, and sales fell more than 9% for the quarter. New CEO Ashley Buchanan says their plan moving forward will be to offer a more balanced assortment, reestablish Kohl's as a leader in quality, and create a smooth experience both in-store and online. But he admits it's going to take some time to right the ship. Some layoffs and store closures have already taken place. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The Piano Man pushing off several of his tour dates this year, including the one scheduled in Milwaukee next month.
Sing us a song, you're the Piano Man.
It's one of 8 concerts being postponed as the 75-year-old Joel recovers from recent surgery. According to a statement from the artist, Joel is expected to make a full recovery, and tour dates scheduled from July 5th on will proceed as planned. The April 26th show in Milwaukee with Sting has yet to be rescheduled. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Joel last played in Milwaukee back in 2019.
We're going to sports now. Okay, time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. On the college hardwood, the Badger men get a break before Big Ten tournament play in Indianapolis. They will face either Minnesota or Northwestern on Thursday. Badger sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. And by the way, the Bucks need a comeback after back-to-back losses. They face the Pacers in Indianapolis tonight for a 6:30 p.m. tip-off. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. right here after from Wisconsin's afternoon news.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:36.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the best in the business, and Guthrie and Fry will get it to you. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice, and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
3:37 on WTMJ. I hope that you are having a fabulous day. So glad that Toya's with me today.
I'm so glad to be here today.
Is it nice out? I haven't been out since this morning.
It was pretty nice out. Definitely sunny.
That's
always
nippy,
it
right?
was. Yeah, there was the wind was a little disrespectful, but overall, it was a pretty day. As long as the sun is shining, I can get through some of these colder. Not today is cold, but I can get through the winter cold days as long as the sun is shining.
Me too. Okay, so I wanted to share with all of you this bizarre ending to a scary case that was in the headlines. An Oak Creek girl, just 13 years old, goes missing. What we knew at the time was that she left a skate park 10 days ago and was never seen again. And then this was really suspicious. Her phone was found a mile away. The girl was gone. Police, the past 10 days, were using canine, drones, search parties over the weekend with her father at Bender Park, her aunt, uncle talking. They had signs missing. And it turns out it was a custody issue. She was with her mom.
Mother.
That's what Oak Creek police are saying. Oak Creek police say they quickly caught wind, found the girl, and the mom is now arrested. I wanted to bring in Brandon. Brandon, how did you explain this to your kids when you heard about this?
Yeah, so this was a difficult situation in our household, and I'll just be quite frank and honest with you. My kids go to school with Lily. They know her. They see her in the hallways. They had gym class with her. They ate lunch in the cafeteria together. So it was a hard-hitting, home-hitting thing that happened, and you see it on the news a lot, right? You see missing child or something traumatic happens, and it never really hits home until it actually hits home. And this one hit home to us, trying to explain to our kids, well, where is she? Where did she go? How is she missing? Do you know who took her? Those are the questions that were brought to the dinner table as we're sitting around as a family, and nothing prepares you for those conversations or those questions from your kids. Like, you can go through it, A to Z and back and forth, but to see the look on their face, and they were clearly concerned. I mean, they were on Snapchat posting up. We had our neighbors across the street who also go to the same school. We're going around and putting up missing signs and have you seen her? And so it was really tough for us. And I know a few of my two daughters go to the same school with her, and I know a couple of their friends were petrified to go outside alone. Like, it hit really hard for them. They didn't want to, if they were into Target, they wouldn't get out of the car. They would stay in the car. They wouldn't want to get out alone. So it was a very tough situation for everybody, for my kids, especially in our household. I'm so thankful that she was found safe. I don't know any of the other details as far as who had her or where she was or any of that. And quite frankly, to be honest with you two guys, I don't really care. As long as she's safe, that's all I was caring about. But it was an extremely sensitive topic in our house. And for me too, because it's like, that could be my daughter, right? Yeah. Like, that could be my kid. And thankfully she's okay. But like, it really hits home for you when something like that happens in your school district, in your kids' friends and their friends on TikTok and Snapchat, and then you get emails from the school giving you updates, and you're like, holy cow, this is actually happening to me.
Real.
Yeah.
Very, very much real. I guess in having those conversations, and now that we know that she is safe, God forbid you have to have that type of conversation again. I guess when you look back as a parent and having had that conversation, what tips would you give to parents out there when it comes to a situation like this? Like, how do you discuss it? You probably could look back and be like, man, I wish I had said this, or I wish I hadn't said this. So I guess, none of us want to have that conversation with our kids. Yeah. But if you can look back and kind of assess what went right, what went wrong, as far as that conversation was concerned.
I would say as far as what went right, for me and my wife, we were very upbeat and positive. But when we're laying in bed at night, we're like, holy cow, I hope and pray every day that she's okay. But for us, it's like, oh, the police are on it. You know, they're on it. They're taking care of it. You know, her family was on, you know, TV trying to get the word out. They were doing pop-up search parties in the local parks. And I said, people are out. People care. Something that I would like to learn from it is to have these proactive conversations. Toya and Julia, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with any of my kids. I have 5 of them about what to do in one of these situations. And I don't know if I really still, quite frankly, have those answers.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 16-year-old who I have to have conversations with for many things, especially, you know, after school activities and parties and whatnot. And our other kids who are in middle school are a little bit different, right? They're not at that age yet. But now I have to have those conversations of why this is why we put tracking devices on your phones. This is why, you know, we have the Life 360 app and we want to know where you're at. And when we go to the mall, you are not allowed to walk alone, you know, throughout the mall. And these are the reasons why. But I guess to bring it, you know, full circle would be I just wasn't prepared. I might still not be prepared, but eventually, you know, I hope to get there.
Yeah. Well, we are all thankful that she's safe. Thank you for your insight too, especially when it's when it hits close to home. Again, we don't want to ever wish this for anyone.
Yeah. So now what this has turned into was a missing child case that is now the mom is arrested. And it was interfering with child custody. But we have not gotten the criminal complaint. We just know that was what the arrest is. So we are staying on top of that story. Brandon, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Up next, the market's not reacting well to Canadian steel and aluminum tariffs going up to 50%. We talk to the best in the business, Annex Wealth Management, as Wisconsin's afternoon news continues.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. OrthoWisconsin.com.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin winters are unpredictable.
This is history. Never had a tornado touchdown in February.
We keep you updated on blizzards.
Winter storm warning has been issued for all of southeast Wisconsin, and it's going to get really, really dicey.
Blackouts.
Tens of thousands of customers across southeast Wisconsin are without power this morning.
Icy roads.
Very, very slick conditions pretty much everywhere.
And more. With WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts. On air and at WTMJ.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for my friends at Dave Drekamp Heating. When you experience temperatures 10 degrees below zero, more than 15 inches of snow, rain showers, and sunny days in the low 40s, all in a 3-week period, it can only mean one thing. You live in Wisconsin, and that prepared you to be ready for anything. Because here in Wisconsin, anything can happen with our weather. But fear not. For over 42 years, Dave Drekamp Heating has lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, or winter, even when they all seem to happen at once, whenever you're experiencing a home comfort dilemma, just call the teams I trust at Dave Drekamp Heating. From free estimates for new equipment, routine maintenance to ensure your system is ready for anything, or because you simply have a question about your home comfort, call 262-367-2820. 262-367-2820. Dave Drekamp Heating, because your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrekamp.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com because today's your day.
Let's get you where you need to safely with our Debbie Lazaga.
All right, northbound 43, we are starting to slow down from just before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Burleigh. The southbound side slowing a little bit right through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Westbound 94, you're seeing delays from about 25th Street past Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's backing up from about 76th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard as well. Couple taps on the brakes through the Stadium interchange. And then on southbound 41, backing up just south of Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Thursday, partly cloudy, 50 at the lake, 58 inland. Friday, there's a chance of night storms, but during the day, it's going to be partly cloudy, 71 inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, scattered showers are possible. Mainly early, it'll be windy throughout the day, a high of 57 degrees. Right now it is sunny and 36 degrees.
Oh my, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down.
I can see that scene. That's so funny. I love it.
I know. Oh, that's the best open of it. Hopefully no one's like Michael Scott from The Office as concerns about tariffs and economic slowdown continues on Wall Street today. The Dow closed down 1%, down 478 in the day. S&P 500 down 0.75%, down 42. NASDAQ is down 32. And yesterday the Dow was down 2%. Same with S&P. NASDAQ yesterday was down 4%. Okay.
We're not freaking out. Okay.
No.
We're not freaking out.
If I didn't have Annex Wealth Management, I might be like Michael Scott from The Office because I'm almost 40 years old. So I have like 25 more years left to work and keep growing my 401k. A quarter century.
This is the worst.
Not really, because we have the smartest man here. The CEO who can break it all down for us with Annex Wealth Management. Dave Spano, how are you doing? How are you feeling after seeing this today?
I'm feeling great. I think, that lead-in was because Toya is in the studio. That's exactly what's happening.
Are you a fan of The Office?
I'm feeling pretty good. No, I'm feeling pretty good. There is this freak out factor, and we talked about this last week, Julia, because we had a negative GDP report.
Yeah.
And, when you have that for one quarter, that's not good. When you have it back-to-back quarters, that's generally the signal that you're going to have a recession. And so the freak out mode really kind of started late last week. And why did we have a negative GDP report? Because all of these companies are buying these goods around the world. They're bringing in lumber, they're bringing in all of these products and steel to get in front of the tariffs. And number two, countries are dumping their products into the U.S. before the tariffs hit. So all of this tariffs mean people are buying products. That reduces the GDP, and that's exactly what happened.
Interesting. Yeah, the president was talking about how right before all those tariffs went in, that Canada was trying to bring in a lot of cars over the border. He was just saying right next to Elon Musk outside the White House just a few minutes ago that the market does not concern him. He also said the day before that he doesn't look at the markets. In his last term, he was tweeting about the markets a lot. So what do you think about him saying now that none of this concerns him?
Come on. It's Trump. So he says a lot of things, but, he does measure the success on how the stock market performs, right? So I think that's an interesting comment, but I do think at the end of the day, people measure, as you would let in, right, your 401k, do you have enough assets to retire? So it does matter, right? But he is using an economic tool, which is a tariff, to get non-economic outcomes. In other words, immigration and the flow of drugs into the United States. He was using that tool, which is a blunt object, to try to get these countries to get online and stop these two things from happening. That's the first move. The second move now is reciprocal tariffs. In other words, if Germany charges 10 or 20% for a car to come into the United States versus 2.5% for it to go out, that is not aligned. And so he's arguing that we should have at least some type of equalization of the tariffs that go back and forth between the two countries. And so what we're watching here is the making of sausages, right? So a lot of time, you like to eat them, but you don't like to see how they're made. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing these in wide open, in a very public domain. He's negotiating, with the entire world to get a number of outcomes. We'll see if he's successful, and if this tariff, this tool, this blunt object gets the results that he wants.
Ontario took a step back. They are not going to increase by 25% for now. The electricity in 3 states, in Minnesota, Michigan, and in New York. People are also talking about recession. They asked the president that just in front of the White House as well. What does that look like? Is there possibility of a recession in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so 2 points. And then the first thing, let's talk about Canada. So, Trudeau and Trump were not besties, right? And so this new prime minister, Mark Carney, he is a Harvard-educated economist. He played hockey there, right? And then he went on to head up not only the Bank of Canada, but the Bank of England. He's a smart cat, right?
Was never a politician, too.
When it wasn't a politician, right? So, but he has a relationship with Howard Lutnick, who is going to be the guy who negotiates these agreements. I believe that Carney and Lutnick are going to get a deal together. So that Canadian thing that we saw this afternoon, not surprised to see that. The second part of your question is, will we have a recession? If we have 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP, well, then we're gonna have a slowdown, and that's why the market is reacting to that. When you have a recession, you generally have a bear market. Recession, back-to-back quarters. A bear market means down 20% peak to trough. This is the one little caveat that is not being understood, I think, by some of the people we're talking to. And that is because all of this negative GDP came from all of this product that came in the United States. Guess what? Now is inventory. And that inventory gets sold. That is a huge positive to GDP. So we may get a boost of GDP maybe in Q2, probably in Q3, quarter 3, and we're going to have a positive number. So it's a whole lot of negotiating, Julia, that we're seeing right now, and we'll see how it comes out. I mean, there's things that people should do in their portfolios. One is your lead-in is don't freak out. That's the first thing, right? The second thing that you have to do is make sure that your portfolio is set up to take these things. So there are things that are doing well in portfolios right now: defensive stocks, utilities, and down the line, staples. They do well in times of uncertainty, and the things that really don't do great are the ones that we're going through the rough. Think about the Mag 7, some of the tech stocks. But if you set your portfolio up, you have a plan. As you said, you have 25 years. You won't even remember this little bounce in 25 years from now. You continue to invest, continue to contribute to your 401k, and I think it's managed by a pretty good firm, and then continue to put money into that thing, and in 25 years, you're going to be in great shape.
You know what was also really interesting is I was watching the president's interview talking about the recession, and he says that we shouldn't be looking at it as quarters, and you said you're going to be looking at the next 2 quarters.
Well, that's the definition.
Okay,
right, yeah.
He says that China looks at it as every 100 years.
Which, okay.
Totally different form of
Yes,
government.
yes.
They look at the long game. I thought
That's
it
a
was
spin.
50 years.
Yeah, but that's a spin. There's no question about that. But this is what I would say is you do want to be able to manage your portfolio. But he did say, and some of his people in his cabinet have said, we're probably going to have to go through an air pocket. And we're probably going to have to do a little bit of detox. These are the words that they're using to get to the next level. And generally, when you have a pullback, it takes a little time to recover. But you think about it, let's just take March of 2020 out of this example because it was so short-lived. You have to go all the way back to 2009, the last time we really had a recession. So that is a long time, 16 years without a true recession, just sans that little bump that we had in March of 2020.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference. Thank you so much for everything.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the day.
I appreciate it. You too. 3:56 on WTMJ. Wisconsin's afternoon news continues with your top stories, traffic, and weather. And then I'm going to go into court records I just got my hands on. It's a tough one. It's about abuse at a Milwaukee public school. People have known about apparently for months, according to court records, and now this MPS worker is charged with 2 counts of child abuse. Where, when, and why it took so long is coming up.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Rockwell Automation extends its robotics business with an investment into Right Hand Robotics. The Massachusetts firm's robots can complete end-to-end warehouse operations, according to the company. Plans for a 7 Brew coffee stand are advancing in West Allis. 7 Brew had won conditional approval for a different site in November of 2022. 3 of Milwaukee's largest arts organizations are the recipients of $5 million challenge gifts. The funds will go to the Milwaukee Art Museum, the Milwaukee Repertory Theater, and the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. I'm Logan Hansen for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love my dogs, Bella and Baxter, an important part of our family. They're kind of like kids sometimes, and like kids, they weren't always listening. But I've got it figured out now. Thanks to Matt and his teams at Sit Means Sit Dog Training, our dogs are better behaved. They don't bark as much. They just listen better. They're happy, confident, obedient. Our house is a better house. Sit Means Sit Dog Training turned it around for us. Let them do the same for you. You can start with a free consultation. The website is sitmeansitwaukesha.com. Sitmeansitwaukesha.com.
The Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour. Friday, May 23rd at the Riverside Theater. The music, the memories, the Beach Boys, riding an endless summer wave. Get tickets now at PabstTheaterGroup.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys, the Sounds of Summer Tour, live.
Are you over 18 years old, over 280 pounds, and interested in participating in a clinical research study? If so, you may be eligible to participate in a research study involving MRI scanning. You may qualify to participate if you are 18 years of age or older and not employed by GE Healthcare, are able to hear and understand English, are over 280 pounds, are not pregnant, do not have any tattoos or permanent makeup, have no implants with the exception of permanent orthodontic retainers and breast implants. Pierre O'Godden is a principal investigator for the study being held at 3200 North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Study scans are investigational, and the use of these devices has not been cleared by the FDA. The study is not being performed for diagnostic purposes and is not intended to replace your medical care. Your appointment will last up to 4 hours, and for your time and travel to GE Healthcare in Waukesha, you will be offered a gift card valued at $80 per appointment at GE Healthcare's MRI facility. To learn more, please call GE Healthcare at 262-312-7855. Again, that's 262-312-7855.
Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
The Bucks are ready to speed past the Pacers in Indiana.
Torian Prince inside. Puts the shot up, missed it short. Giannis gets it back, and he slams it down with a two-hand jam as he rocks the rim on another dunk.
Our coverage starts tonight at 6 on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 4 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Tuesday, March 11th. Your top story, a show of support that's just for show.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure. Time is ticking to get your real ID.
Found on 43. We got some backups now from North Avenue all the way down through the Marquette. Northbound slowing down from Kilbourne up to Keefe. Southbound 41, you're looking at delays from Silver Spring down past Capitol Drive, with the northbound side slowing down just north of North Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. Eastbound 94, watch for backup starting at 76th Street, taking you through the Stadium interchange to 35th. On the westbound side, slowing from 16th all the way through to about Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. You could see the sun. 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Right now, it's sunny and 36 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, in a show of support for Elon Musk, the president bought a red Tesla Cybertruck. He showed it off to the press in front of the White House, but the president says he will not be driving it.
I'm not allowed to drive because I haven't driven a car in a long time, and I love to drive cars, but I'm going to have it at the White House, and I'm going to let my staff use it. I'm going to let people at the place use it, and they all are all excited about that. I'm not allowed to use it. Can you believe it?
Tesla's stock has dropped more than 50% since late last year.
President Trump's escalating trade war with Canada is creating stock market turmoil and rising recession risks. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says it's only temporary.
When it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time.
Trump posted on social media that he'd double the tariffs on Canada in response to price hikes on electricity Canada sells to the United States. But now Ontario has backed down on its planned surcharges.
Ukraine accepting the terms of a 30-day ceasefire with Russia, proposed by the U.S. during talks in Saudi Arabia today. CBS News White House reporter Jennifer Jacobs.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz told us the U.S. has gone from if the war is going to end now to how the war is going to end. He described that as a significant shift. He made it sound like what the U.S. wanted, what President Trump wanted is happening. And I think the proof of that is that he said that military aid that had been suspended, it will be restarted. Military equipment will start being sent back to Ukraine, and the intelligence sharing will begin.
Today marks 5 years since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. So, how do things stand now?
I had the fever, the cough were persistent.
Sal Mazzara survived COVID in New York City even after suffering a cardiac arrest, but more than 7 million around the world did not.
COVID is still around. COVID is still a bit of a problem.
That's Dr. Ashish Jha, the White House COVID-19 response coordinator under President Biden, who says for healthy Americans,
no, I don't think it poses a big risk.
He says it can still be a problem for the elderly and others at high risk. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Here locally, the clock is ticking on getting a real ID. This is the federally compliant license for people who are traveling through the U.S. airports or visiting federal buildings. Federal Security Director for TSA Wisconsin, Mark Lenve.
Beginning May 7th, transportation security officers with the TSA at our nation's airports will start enforcing the Real ID requirements at our ticket document checker positions. Individuals without a Real ID would be delayed in going through our TSA screening process, and that delay could be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes trying to get through TSA security checkpoints.
You know you have a Real ID if it has a star in the top right-hand corner. Coming up, a book rental nearly a century overdue. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:05.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
$1 in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of four. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:07. A woman in New Jersey has returned a library book that was 99 years overdue.
Mary Cooper was going through boxes of her late mother's belongings when she found the book, which someone had borrowed from the Ocean County Library in 1926.
And I find the dates, and I'm thinking this had to have been taken out by my grandfather.
That library doesn't charge late fees anymore, but it says if it did, the fee for that book would be $18,000. The library is putting the book, titled Homemade Toys for Girls and Boys, in a glass case. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It's the eve of the NFL league year and official free agent signing period. The Packers agree to terms with offensive lineman Aaron Banks and cornerback Nate Hobbs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly in conversations with Aaron Rodgers. The Brewers and Cubs are on the field in Mesa as Cactus League play continues today. Here's the MLB Network crew visiting with Christian Yelich.
Is it possible that you guys won't be so under the radar this year?
I mean, I feel like we're under the radar every year, which is fine. It's your guys' fault, probably.
Shouldn't be me. I blame us. We're trying.
And the Bucks post up in Indianapolis tonight against the Pacers. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6 o'clock.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:08.
Get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month at PellaWI.com.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
For Jenna, helping others find joy is so rewarding. It's why we love to do what we do.
I enjoy simplifying the process for the customer, taking the time to listen, and finding the right solution.
Randy understands that everyone's situation is different, so we don't just slap together cookie-cutter solutions.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
Jake arrives at your free in-home consultation with pre-prepared materials to fully envision your dream Pella build.
We're with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Whether you're working with Ryan or another Pella consultant, we don't go away after the sale. We're ready with anything you may need before, during, and after installation. And right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Toya Washington.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. So happy that you're with us. Really sunny out. We will have more about your weather in less than 5 minutes. But first, I wanted to share this with you because I always believe the child. Court records say that some students who go to Metcalf School, that's right on North Avenue, it's the Milwaukee Public Schools district, told their parents that they didn't even want to go to school sometimes if they knew this one teacher assistant was going to be in their room. Milwaukee Public Schools paraprofessional, 62-year-old Jeffrey McLean, he is now charged with child abuse. So there's a pattern here that was laid out in court records. It shows a teacher returned from her lunch, and the student said, quote, "He did it again." Here's what happened. Prosecutors say in room 205 of Metcalf School, a 6-year-old boy was grabbed by this 62-year-old defendant. The court records say he forced the 6-year-old into a chair so violently the child had a 3-inch cut on his upper chest area and was bleeding. This teacher was told I'm so sorry. This teacher also told detectives that this guy takes the students for a walk afterwards, convincing them that nothing was wrong or bad had happened, telling them to lie about what happened if asked. And there's also 2 more victims as well in this court record. They say another 6-year-old told police in December, so 3 months ago, that he was on the playground at Metcalf School and was slapped across the face by this defendant, leaving a bruise.
See,
so,
I, as a parent, this is, I don't know.
I don't think I'd be.
It would be
that.
React and then ask questions later because I'm very, very mama bear.
Me too. Yeah. Oh, forget about that. Yeah. And a 7-year-old said just this past Thursday, he was in that classroom again, that same classroom where that laceration happened on the first child.
Mm-hmm.
And according to court records, threatened a student saying, "I'll break your blinking jaw." And a teacher witnessed that. So Jeffrey McLean, out of a job as a paraprofessional, now faces more than 12 years behind bars. If this is all true, I hope that would probably be the rest of his life, likely.
Yeah.
He's 63 years old.
I'm
This
really
is
curious.
just not good.
Are any of these schools, do they have cameras in the
hope
classroom?
So.
I mean,
Come on. There's a pattern here. It's been going on since December, or who knows how long.
alleged pattern. We have to be careful.
An alleged pattern.
Yes,
Very
charged.
good, Toya. Thank you for covering me. He is innocent until proven guilty. Wisconsin's Afternoon News continues with a strange ending to this reality TV show. It's a dating show. I don't know if you saw it, but this person made it all the way down the aisle, was face-to-face with a groom, only to tell him then it's over. And the reason why has people talking. That's next.
Whatever you want to call this season, we're over it. Time to look forward to
Fly ball, right field. It is deep. It is gone.
spring training is finally here and back on the radio.
Back again and gone again for Hoskins.
Make sure to catch our next spring training broadcast as the Brewers take on the Giants Friday at 3. No matter the season, we are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Namaste.
Dan, what are you doing?
Shh, you're harshing my mellow. Join me in some breathing exercises to chase away the chaos.
Let's focus on our clients since we offer an exceptional way to control the chaos.
Inspired Closets can more than double your closet storage space.
And we don't over-design projects, sending you 3 beautiful designs to fit your price point.
Plus, our true lifetime warranty makes it a no-brainer.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Not so fun fact, a recent study showed that only 40% of managers have annual check-ins with their direct reports. Not good, especially when today's younger workers crave development and growth. But the LAK Group has a new tool called Coaching on Demand. This cutting-edge platform connects leaders and professionals with certified coaches and seamlessly integrates AI into their development journey, all on their schedule. Learn more at transformingcareers.com. LAK, discover your human advantage.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Traffic and then weather, Debbie Lazaga.
All right. Well, we got an issue along northbound 41, right up just past North Avenue. The right lane is closed with a crash. So those delays are stretching all the way back past Mayfair Road already. So be careful with that. Southbound on 41, slowing from Silver Spring down past Capitol. Northbound 43, still heavy from Kilbourne up to Keefe. Southbound just starting to slow down in pockets from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette over the high rise. And more delays then from Lapham down towards the KK River crossing. Westbound 94, we've got backups from 25th Street all the way through to almost Hawley Road. After that, it looks pretty good into Waukesha County. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Thursday, partly cloudy, 50 at the lake, 58 inland. Friday, partly cloudy, breezy. Night storms possible, but 71 degrees inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, scattered showers, mainly early, windy. a high of 57 degrees. Right now it's sunny and 36 degrees in Milwaukee. Hey, Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is now sponsored by Dave Drakamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDrakamp.com, and we've covered a lot. We're talking about Rick Springfield's revelation. We were talking about the Ukraine-U.S. talks on ending the war with Russia. It just started in Saudi Arabia. Chris Baccia, he's the ABC News reporter from the State Department, had really great brand new details. The Oak Creek missing girl, her mom was charged. New information on that. We also have market volatility that Dave Spano puts into perspective for us. And I was just talking about the child abuse case that is going on in a Milwaukee Public Schools. One of the staff members was just charged with 2 counts of child abuse. So you can text WAN, W-A-N, it stands for Wisconsin's Afternoon News, to 855-616-1620, WAN, to get up to date whenever you want. Okay. Do you know Love is Blind, the show?
I do. I have not watched it. I usually just catch like whatever pops on like Instagram or something where I'm like, oh, what's this? But I have not watched the show, but I am very familiar with, yes.
Yes, I wait until they do the reveal where they finally see each other.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're really disappointed.
To put it mildly.
So basically the show, you're split up, men in one area, women in another. And then you meet the opposite sex by talking through a wall where you cannot see each other. You can choose to keep talking or not, and eventually meet each other, see each other for the first time, like we just talked about. And 9 times out of 10, there's a proposal right then and there. Then you live with each other for about 5 weeks, and then you decide if you want to marry on camera. So this story is wild. Sarah, 38 years old, an oncology nurse, met this guy, Ben Mazenga. They made it all the way down the aisle with reservations that she had because he had no opinion on Black Lives Matter, religion, and the COVID vaccine.
But I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't. I'm sorry, but I don't want that to be misunderstood. I still love you, and everything about you is amazing. And I care about you so much.
I care about you too. And I love you so much.
He's like still smiling and everything. And then everybody's jaws dropped. Moms and dads on both sides. And here's the thing. She knew by the second blind date when they're like talking through the wall how he was.
George Floyd. That obviously hit home because George Floyd happened in Minneapolis. What are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter?
Like, I'm not one way or another. I just kind of keep out of it.
I think it's very valuable and important to think about those things. And knowing you, it's not like you're actively like racist, but I personally believe what happened to George Floyd and everything else that happened, I don't think that's right at all.
Yeah.
What's so important is to speak up for things that are happening around us, right? You know, like our voice really does matter.
Yeah. I've just kind of been staying out of it.
I don't like those answers.
I don't like those answers.
So listen to how he felt that conversation went when he went to the guys versus her when she went to the girls. Okay, take a listen to this.
I just got a girlfriend?
I don't know. I thought you guys were sure. So he did vote. I'm like, okay, what do you think about Black Lives Matter? Yeah. And he said, honestly, like, I just like haven't educated myself on it. That's important to me.
So I mean, she had reservations.
I don't even understand how you continue then. Like if you're not on the same wavelength, I mean, there are certainly things that we can, you know, like I like crunchy peanut butter, but my husband likes creamy peanut butter. Fine. But things that of this magnitude, when you're talking religion, when you're talking politics, when
like
you're talking
a deep thinker.
No, he didn't. Apparently, he also asked if they could still see each other after she said she couldn't marry him.
Gosh!
I know. Get a hint, dude.
She walked down the aisle, said, "I'm sorry," and left him standing there, and he's still smiling. Something was not going right upstairs.
No,
okay, so here's one more thing. She is talking about all of this, what went down, and saying bad things about him. Her fiance, who she just left at the altar. And they're in a car, so she's talking to her sister smack about him.
Like, I asked him about, like, Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert. But, like, when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much about it. That affected me, especially in our own city. Like, how could it not? How did it not make you think about something? I asked him, too, like, what his church's views are, and he said he didn't know. And so then I watched a sermon online.
From his church?
About, sexual identity.
Okay.
And it was traditional. I told that to Ben. And he doesn't really have much to say about it, you know? I want him to think about that.
Some people just don't want to think about anything. What is this?
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, and I don't understand how you continue the conversation. Like, if there are red flags early, and I guess maybe because I'm at a phase and stage in life where, like, I get it. Like, I know the dating universe is just wackadoodle, but horrible. Yes, I can't imagine being out there and being a 20-something or a 30-something. But man, like, ladies,
there was also something wrong with her too.
Yes,
he obviously doesn't have an opinion on anything. I don't know what the heck that's about.
No.
And then she saw that, she has standards and opinions and thinks deeply, but still goes down the aisle of him.
Both. It's just, I don't know.
What is wrong with her?
This reality TV is so not real. I mean, it just obviously. But
I think this was. I think that she just wanted to be on TV.
I think they all just kind of want to be on TV.
So she went all the way down the thing and then humiliated him
and herself. I mean, honestly, ladies. My bottom line, while we're talking about the 2030s something and you're out there dating, like, early red flags, just turncoat, leave.
Bye-bye.
Like, you will find someone better. I promise you. Men are, yes, like, I can fix that attitude when you go into a relationship. Don't do it. You just don't. There's enough things to exhaust your mind, soul, and spirit. Trying to fix a partner is not one of them.
No,
move on.
I call them the dusties. Just
the dusty crusties.
We don't need any.
We don't need a dusty crusties.
We do not need dust here. Just let the dusties go. That's what I tell my friends, at least.
Let the Dyson pick them up. They
exactly
just vacuum them up, get them out.
Gosh, how do you not have an opinion on anything? You don't even know your own religion? I don't know what was going on with that. Okay, time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. Dow down more than 1%, down 478. S&P 500 down 0.75%, down 42, and NASDAQ down 32. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, memory care issues. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I've been in their places. I love how they deal with people. It's about compassion and empathy at Azura. Kindness is at their core. 14 locations from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, 4 here in the Milwaukee area. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's about kindness and care. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Comfort Awnings and Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here to tell you about Built-Right's annual Friends and Family Mattress Sale on now. The one location saves you time and money. Built-Right makes it easy to shop, and easy to buy. Don't have to take my word for it. Let's hear from another Built Right customer. Jenna from Cudahy says, mattress shopping, I've done the research for you. This is the best place to go for absolute quality at a good price. JD helped us years ago find our bed and was able to help us today find the right bed for our 14-year-old. JD knows the products and has a great strategy of questions to really figure out what you need. I purchased our mattress with full confidence that it's going to last and give proper support for many years. Big and tall, they have the best heavy-duty mattresses and box springs. We've had ours for about 3 years. It still feels brand new. Sounds like you got to get to Built Right today. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny and Jenna sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle until I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Got game?
Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, we've got game. We've also got...
Swims through his man and lays it in as he knifes his way into the low block.
And...
He'll give to Giannis, and he says, I'll add some more to my tally. Thank you very much.
And who could forget?
Pulls up top of the arc. He got bumped, and he hit the three. Count that, baby, with another one coming.
Catch every Milwaukee Bucks basketball game all season long on your home for the Bucks. 620 WTMJ.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders. And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful, and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right, because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Are you concerned with AMD? Now protecting your eyes is easier thanks to New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements, available now at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's approaching 4:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour: a former Bucks player suffers a medical emergency.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure, voting on a House GOP budget bill.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Things are tightening up on 41 heading northbound. Just before you get to Burleigh, we do have a crash, and it was was in the right lane for the longest time. It's now been moved off to the right shoulder, but damage is done. Delays out of the zoo all the way up to the accident scene. On the southbound side, we've got backups from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol Drive. Southbound 43 slowing from North Avenue through the Marquette all the way down past Lincoln. On the northbound side, backing up out of the Marquette all the way to Keith. And westbound 94 delays from the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road, with the eastbound side slowing down just through the Stadium interchange. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow you get to see the sun. 45 to the lake, 53 inland. Right now it's sunny and 35 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, we have just learned into our newsroom the Milwaukee Bucks player and franchise minority owner, Junior Bridgman, is undergoing an unexpected medical emergency. Bridgman was doing a local interview with a Louisville-based station, WLKY, at a fundraiser when he suddenly told a reporter that he thought that he was having a heart attack. Emergency crews were able to get Bridgman and take him to a nearby hospital where he's receiving medical treatment right now.
In Wisconsin, UW-Madison is among 60 universities across the country in danger of losing federal funding if they fail to protect Jewish students on campus.
A letter sent to the school Monday warns of potential enforcement actions if UW-Madison does not fulfill obligations under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to protect Jewish students on campus. UW-Madison is the only Wisconsin university on that list. The letter comes almost a year after a pro-Palestinian encampment formed on the campus. Meanwhile, UW-Madison has 2 open Title VI investigations against it, alleging violations relating to anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A spokesperson for UW-Madison says the school will cooperate with any questions or requests for information from the department.
Preparations underway in Green Bay for the next month's NFL Draft. NBC 26, McLoig Hateman.
The process has been a little different for this situation.
Do you have the home rented for the draft then?
So no, we do not. So a Lambeau layover is still available.
Okay.
With fewer than 50 days to go until the draft, Jim Sweeney is patiently waiting for someone to rent his house called Lambeau Layover, a Packers-themed home blocks away from Lambeau, and after nearly doubling the usual rate for the draft.
And we feel that's a pretty good point to be at.
Sweeney says he's confident someone will still rent Lambeau Layover.
It's been a challenge, but I think we're at that point where we feel it's a good value.
The draft starts April 24th.
Sales plunge for one Wisconsin-based company.
The fourth quarter net income at Kohl's dropped 74% from a year ago, and sales fell more than 9% for the quarter. New CEO Ashley Buchanan says their plan moving forward will be to offer a more balanced assortment, reestablish Kohl's as a leader in quality, and create a smooth experience both in-store and online. But he admits it's going to take some time to right the ship. Some layoffs and store closures have already taken place. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
In a symbolic show of support for Elon Musk, President Donald Trump today bought a red Tesla Cybertruck.
I'm going to buy it because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. And I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people.
Tesla stock has dropped more than 50% since late last year.
The House is expected to vote later today to fund the federal government past Friday's deadline before leaving for recess. On the House floor this afternoon, Republican leader Steve Scalise blamed House Democrats for threatening a government shutdown.
Here we are again. We're on the eve of another potential shutdown, and this Republican majority said we're not going to let that happen.
President Trump reportedly called wavering Republicans to seal their support.
Efforts by the Trump administration appear to be making headway as Ukraine-Russia ceasefire talks have been agreed to in Saudi Arabia.
Ukraine has accepted a U.S. proposal to implement a 30-day interim ceasefire, though, of course, that requires Russia's agreement as well. More immediately, the U.S. has lifted the pause on intelligence sharing and the delivery of military aid to Ukraine. That was suspended after an explosive meeting between Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump recently at the White House.
Airlines are sounding the alarm of economic uncertainties that might be ahead as travel bookings are slowing.
Each of the major U.S. airlines is now putting out guidance that there is significant economic uncertainty directly impacting domestic bookings. Worries about the future of the economy, along with fears over recent crashes, have Americans pulling back from travel. United, Southwest, American, and Delta say government and corporate bookings have plummeted. United saying government bookings are down 50%. Airlines will be reducing the number of seats by flying fewer or smaller planes into markets because of the downturn. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Southwest Airlines is changing the way you fly on a low-cost carrier. CBS News correspondent Janet Shamlian.
Starting now, May 28th, and if you book the 28th and after, you will have to pay for bags. Now, they haven't said how much that's going to cost, but it's believed that it's going to be commensurate with what the airlines charge, which is the other airlines, which is $20 or $25 for the first bag, and then on a sliding scale from there.
This goes against the airline's 54-year policy.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. On the college hardwood, the Badger men get a break before Big Ten tournament play in Indianapolis. They'll face either Minnesota or Northwestern Thursday. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. And by the way, the Bucks need a comeback bad after back-to-back losses. They face the Pacers in Indianapolis tonight for a 6:30 tip-off. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. right after Wisconsin's afternoon news.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:36.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks. Take a look outside and imagine the yard of your dreams. What do you see out there? Thriving plant life, immaculately edged beds, beautiful, healthy blooms. I got this at my place. It's thanks to Landworks. Take the guesswork out of your green space with landscape services from a good local company, Landworks. Their personalized landscaping plans are carefully designed to make your property shine throughout the season. Plan it now. Now's the time to contact Landworks today. The teams I trust in my yard. LandworksWisconsin.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
4:37 on WTMJ. I hope that you're having a great day. Brandon is stressed.
Uh-oh.
And it's not us.
I was going to say, what did I do?
No.
I actually hit the microphone every time. Do you see my microphone was open
You guys
every
have been
time.
doing fantastic.
All
Okay,
right.
why are you stressed
I've
out?
had to charge my phone probably 6 times since yesterday. So first off, I'm stressed because Twitter, X, whatever you call it, was down for like 5 hours yesterday. And NFL free agency is underway. As you guys have mentioned in your sportscast, the Packers have made a couple of signings. So I am constantly refreshing, trying to figure out what the next move is going to be. The Bears and the Vikings have made moves. The Lions have made moves. So yes, I am stressed. I am stressed.
Okay, while we're talking about stress, because we saw it on one of the TV monitors that are up above us. So there is rumor of Aaron Rodgers talking to the Vikings. And as most of Wisconsin knows at this point, I am born and raised in Minnesota.
Yep.
I am a Bucks fan. I am a Brewers fan. I cannot release the Vikings from my grasp.
That's
But
okay.
That's his favorite player.
That's my favorite player
His favorite Packers player ever is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, we're done.
of all time. He's the greatest Packer of all time.
So what do you think if he goes to the Vikings?
I don't think he's going to go to the Vikings, but if he goes to the Vikings, I think he's going to do really, really good because they got a really good team.
They do have a really good team, and I'd like to keep it that way because he's not playing so good.
So you don't want to ruin it with Aaron Rodgers.
I do not want to. We played this game.
We're both
we played
stressing
this
out,
game
Toya.
before.
We're
now,
both stressing out.
Now you stressing me out. I didn't come here to freelance to be stressed out. Period. Like I'm not filling in to be stressed out.
But he could play for Pittsburgh.
Yes,
He could.
That's the other.
And the Giants are also in conversations.
Oh my! Oh my! Wow.
And here's the cool thing about that: for all 3 of those teams, Steelers, Giants, Vikings, the Packers play all of them next year.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay, here's more stress. The tariffs. President Trump says he will double Canadian steel and aluminum tariffs to 50%, effective tomorrow. In response to Ontario, they're not doing it anymore, but charging 25% more for electricity in Minnesota, Michigan, New York. They're not doing that anymore, but that 50% still going. How could that affect Wisconsin businesses? I spoke to Lance Trailkill. He is the 3rd-generation owner of All Metals Fabricating, specializing in sheet metal. He says his business has already been affected by January's 25% tariff on imported steel and aluminum.
Most of our aluminum comes from Canada. The heartbeat behind is to have more self-sustained resources, meaning mills in the United States. But the reality is we have 4 mills for aluminum in the United States, and it cannot even, produce a tiny fraction of what U.S. manufacturers need. And same is true of steel. We have quite a few more, but the U.S. could never support U.S. manufacturers.
4. I didn't know that either. And with more goods on the tariff list, Wisconsin consumers will feel the brunt in the end, he says.
What happens is the mills take that 25% tear up and they say, we're not paying that. We're just going to mark it up. So now it's, call it 30%. Then that comes to the U.S. distributors. So now it's 35%. And then it comes down to the manufacturers to push and shove between the customers. And what happens is U.S. manufacturers' margins actually get squeezed. And then additional costs gets passed on to, the end consumer.
Again, the tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum is going up to 50% starting tomorrow, according to the president. And he also repeated his calls for Canada to be absorbed into the U.S. as the 51st state today. Markets already reeling from the impact of Trump's tariffs and broader fears of a recession. The president was just asked about this in front of the White House, and he says he is not concerned at all about a recession. And it has sank in the past 2 days, our stocks. Wisconsin's Afternoon News continues with your health checkup with the president and CEO of Medical College Wisconsin. What really was the cause of the death for Gene Hackman and his wife? Hantavirus? I don't even know how to say it. I never even heard of it before. Plus, we wanted to check in on a comment from RFK Jr. on the measles. That's next.
If you missed this,
Can you talk about how often officers are ending up at schools and how difficult those situations are?
3,100 calls a school year. It was about 17 calls a day.
or this,
Handpicking the press pool. What are your thoughts on that?
I have many, as you might imagine. I've been in the press pool covering the White House, the greatest privilege of my reportorial life.
Catch up on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast at WTMJ.com, presented by Dave Drakamp Heating. Hey, John Mercure here for Griffin Hub in Milwaukee. Let me start with the service special because this is amazing stuff at the Hub. At Griffin's Hub, for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires with free tire repair and lifetime tire rotation, $1 over cost. Cannot be combined with any other tire offers. Tires must be mounted, balanced, and installed at Griffin. See Service Advisor for details. You can score great savings this March Madness at Griffin's Hub. Over 200 new cars on the ground right now, from the practical Pacifica and the iconic Wrangler to the luxurious Grand Wagoneer and the powerhouse Ram truck. They've got the best selection at Griffin Hub. Check it out. The all-new Jeep Wagoneer S has arrived. Experience electric performance with Wagoneer Luxury, and Griffin's Hub needs your trade. Bring in your ride, receive a hassle-free, no-cost appraisal while Griffin's Hub is appraising your vehicle. Take the hot-selling Compass or the dependable Ram 1500 out for a test drive. The teams I trust are at Griffin. Jim Griffin's team, best service, best selection. It's Griffin's Hub.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
Well, we're still got these delays right now on 41 northbound. We have a crash just before you get to Burleigh. It is off on the right shoulder. Delays stretching all the way back to before Blue Mound Road, all the way to the accident scene. On the southbound side, got some backups from south of Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43 backing up from North Avenue down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound is slowing down from just as you're getting basically the middle of the high-rise bridge all the way up towards Keefe. Westbound 94 slowing from 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tomorrow, sunny. You could see the sun. 53 inland at the lake, 45. Thursday, partly cloudy, 58 inland, 50 at the lake. Friday, breezy. Night storms are possible, but 71 degrees during the day will be your high inland, 61 at the lake. Saturday, scattered showers are possible, mainly early, then it'll be windy throughout the day, a high of 57 degrees. Right now, it's 35 degrees in Milwaukee. We are joined at this time every Tuesday by the amazing President and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin, Dr. John Raymond. He is in the house. Doctor, I'm so glad you're with us.
Thanks. It's really glad to be here with your amazing team.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you about this. This was breaking news. I'm going to open this up. Junior Bridgman, we've just learned, he's a Milwaukee Bucks former Milwaukee Bucks player, franchise minority owner. He had an unexpected medical emergency. He was doing a local interview with the Louisville-based station, WLKY, at a fundraiser, and then suddenly told the reporter that he thought he was having a heart attack. So they rushed him to a nearby hospital. He's receiving medical treatment right now. How important is it? Because sometimes I just power through. I don't care what I'm going through. How important is it to know the signs of, who knows what this is, but what are the signs of a heart attack?
Yeah, well, first of all, hopefully Junior's going to be okay. He's just a really wonderful guy and a great ambassador for Milwaukee. So really the signs and symptoms of a heart attack typically would be chest pain, shortness of breath, diaphoresis, which is sort of a cold sweat. Also, you could have left arm pain or shoulder pain radiating down the arm. Those are the classical symptoms, but for women, they can be more subtle, a sense of fatigue, maybe just a vague sense of abdominal or upper chest pain that doesn't radiate anywhere. Typically, the pain can be worsened by activity, and sometimes the angina pain can be actually worsened by putting your arms up over your head. That's very stressful on the heart.
Oh, okay.
So even reaching up to pull down a can of soup or a plate from a cupboard can cause angina.
Have you heard of like jaw pain? In
Yes.
Some why? Why is it? Why does jaw pain? Why is that a sign of a heart attack?
I wish I could tell you the answer, but we learn in medical school when you don't know, you say you don't know. But jaw pain certainly can be a sign of a heart attack.
Yeah, a lot of my best friend's mom had one and was talking about that. I never even knew that.
I think growing up, our idea of a heart attack was always like a racing heart, like if it felt like it was racing out of your chest. And it wasn't until, much later in life where you realize that, no, it's a pain or it radiates down your arm and it's interesting with women how the signs can be a lot more, I don't know if mild is the way or a lot more stealth when it comes to heart attacks. So really being in tune with that and knowing it
more
is
subtle
important.
for women.
Yeah.
It's a real problem. But kudos to Junior for really having the courage to say, hey, something isn't right.
Yeah.
If something's not right, even if you're in the middle of a live interview, just stop and go. So, okay, we have other topics today. I was really interested in this. Gene Hackman, who was an Oscar-winning actor, he passed away. His wife also passed away. It was kind of suspicious. We found out the wife died a week before him of hantavirus. So what is that virus?
Yeah. First of all, Gene Hackman's my favorite actor.
I know.
I loved him in Hoosiers and so many other movies, so it's a huge loss for us. So let's start with Gene Hackman's wife. According to the New Mexico chief medical examiner, his wife, Betsy Arakawa, died a week before her husband, and it was from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. That's an infection that's transmitted to humans from close contact with rodent feces, urine, and saliva. The disease is usually transmitted by breathing dust that has contaminated rodent droppings. So maybe from a warehouse would be one place that you could get those. And there are many different strains of hantavirus that cause different types of diseases, but the predominant strain in North America is called sin nombre, which in Spanish means no name or without a name. The original outbreak in the U.S. occurred in 1993 in the Four Corners region at the intersection of Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. It's really tragic. A 19-year-old Navajo was driving with his parents, and he said he didn't feel well and started having difficulty breathing. A few days before that, he'd had a headache, a mild fever, and by the time they were able to pull over at a convenience store, he was in full cardiopulmonary arrest.
Ooh, that kind of describes her situation because there's a few objects that fell and pills were spread everywhere. She just dropped dead.
Yes, so that's exactly right. And what's challenging about it, first of all, there just aren't that many cases. A couple dozen a year typically occur in the Southwest. And the incubation period between exposure and symptoms is anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks. So people probably
don't
aren't
even
gonna
realize.
remember what happened. And so you start with a headache, sort of some flu symptoms. It can develop then a few days later into a severe fever, shortness of breath. And the hallmark of the mortality that happens, which is about half of the cases, is people just suddenly die.
Wow. Yeah. So we've learned about his wife. Now, Gene Hackman, how did he die?
Yeah. We don't have all the information, but he had apparently very advanced Alzheimer's disease. His wife was his caretaker. He didn't have other people checking in on him, apparently. And so he went a week where he was on his own. He may not have been eating or drinking well, but apparently they said a potential contributor to his cause of death was severe atherosclerotic coronary artery disease.
Okay.
So it's possible he may have had a heart attack.
So yeah, what is that?
It's just hardening of the arteries.
It's just a heart attack.
Yes.
Basically.
Basically.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so wow, I didn't realize he had Alzheimer's and he was 95. So she was probably gone for a long time and he could have just been wandering around the house. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Which I think also can speak to a larger issue too when we're dealing with people with dementia or really assessing how much care a caregiver that isn't a trained professional can give in those situations. And I know that's not an easy conversation to have.
It's not. And I think it also highlights, and Julia, as we were preparing for the show, mentioned this, it highlights that if we have somebody who's requiring chronic care from a single caretaker, that if you're a family member or friend, you should check in every once in a while. You shouldn't just assume that everything is okay.
Yeah, I mean, even a multimillionaire with a huge estate, this could happen to them. I mean, my mother-in-law has Alzheimer's. It is unbelievable what can happen, how quickly, like my husband just went to the bathroom really quick and closed the door, and he came back out. She just saw him maybe 90 seconds before.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so great to see you. Where have you been? What's going on? So, I mean, I could only imagine what Gene Hackman went through. So, and wow, kudos to the medical examiner for figuring that out. A lot of people were very, very confused. Okay, we're going to switch gears now. I want to ask you about the advice from RFK regarding alternatives for measles vaccinations. What was RFK's advice?
Okay, so first of all, I don't agree with a lot of RFK's advice that is based on unsound science. And I'm a trained scientist, trained with the Nobel laureate, so I know how to critically appraise information. But I think sometimes RFK is not accurately quoted. So what RFK said about measles was that the government was going to make vaccines available for those who wanted them. So even though he's a vaccine skeptic, he wants people to make informed choices. So I want to start there. But he also said something that is not well-founded in science, which was that doctors are seeing very, very good results from treating illness, including measles, with a cocktail of an inhaled steroid called budesonide, an antibiotic, an old one called clarithromycin, and cod liver oil, which is a supplement that has a lot of vitamin A and vitamin D in it. So let's be clear, none of those are established treatments for measles. Most of the data available for this cocktail is simply anecdotal, testimonials from doctors who've seen a few cases of measles. However, there are situations in which people do provide supplemental vitamin A for measles. Typically not in the U.S., though. These are in low and middle income countries where vitamin A deficiency is common. It is very uncommon to have vitamin A deficiency in the United States. So the idea is vitamin A is important for your immune health, and measles can stress that. If you have low vitamin A, your outcomes can be worse. So then in low and middle income countries, in areas of endemic measles, they'll prescribe vitamin A. The problem with vitamin A, though, is you can overdose on it. And the recommended daily dose is about 1,000 micrograms. The upper limit of what is safe is only 3 times that, or 3,000 micrograms. And you can have liver failure, bone problems, and even die from what's called hypervitaminosis A, which is an overdose of vitamin A. So if you want to use unconventional treatments for measles, please talk to your doctor first.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to find alternatives even for their pets instead of doing vaccines these days, the people I'm talking to. So was that another way that he was misquoted, like people who are too vulnerable to get a vaccine or something like that? Was that part of his misquote
he didn't really specify who should get it. He simply said that some doctors were having very, very good results. I find that hard to believe because there are only about 150 cases of measles in the U.S. in a given year and maybe 100 in Texas. So how many doctors have actually seen multiple cases of measles where they could say, in my experience, people are doing better if I give them this regimen than if not?
Okay, we might need to skip the good news of the week because I have breaking news that we've just learned, and it was just put in my... The Milwaukee Bucks player, franchise minority owner, Junior Bridgman, he has died. It was just released. So again, he was doing a local interview, and we were just talking to Dr. John Raymond about this. Louisville-based station, WLKY, they're at a fundraiser. They're interviewing him. He does so much for the community all over, including in Milwaukee, and suddenly told a reporter that he thought he was having a heart attack. So we've just learned into our newsroom that Junior Bridgman has died. So we hope to learn more. We thought that it would work out, but
especially when he felt and saw the signals that you would you always pull for that if they're aware enough to say like something is happening that medical intervention can intervene in time. And
always go to the doctor if you know that something's wrong. Do that.
Not always the case.
Dr. John Raymond, President and CEO of Medical College of Wisconsin, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here, and I'm so sorry about the tragic news.
Me too. It's 4:58 on WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Rockwell Automation extends its robotics business with an investment into Right Hand Robotics. The Massachusetts firm's robots can complete end-to-end warehouse operations, according to the company. Plans for a 7 Brew coffee stand are advancing in West Allis. 7 Brew had won conditional approval for a different site in November of 2022. 3 of Milwaukee's largest arts organizations are the recipients of $5 million challenge gifts. The funds will go to the Milwaukee Art Museum, the Milwaukee Repertory Theater, and the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. I'm Logan Hansen for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? We are too. At Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. We're proud to be your one true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. That's right in your backyard. Whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have tailored solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank at Wintrust.com. Wintrust, different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp. Banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the best in the business, and Guthrie and Fry will get it to you. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice, and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get everything for your next project at Menards and save big money. We carry everything to help you breathe easier. Allergen air filters help prevent seasonal allergy symptoms and improve your indoor air quality by capturing microparticles while allowing maximum airflow. Save big on allergen air filters when you shop at Menards. View the weekly flyer and all of our great deals happening this week on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Have you been to the Hounds and Tap yet? In Menominee Falls, this state-of-the-art facility and the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. Grab a drink at the indoor-outdoor tavern, let your dogs hang out. You can even book professional grooming services. From pedicures to full spa treatments. Every day is a play day at the Hounds and Tap. Hang out with your dog and others, or drop your dog off for doggy daycare or doggy boarding services. Check out thehoundsandtap.com. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
Are you concerned with AMD? Now protecting your eyes is easier thanks to new Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements, available now at Amazon.com or newnordicusa.com.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
Traffic is sponsored by Angela Calais and Benefit Realty.
At Benefit Realty, pay only 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission and get all the service that you should. Benefit Realty, you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
The Bucks are ready to speed past the Pacers in Indiana.
Torian Prince inside. Puts the shot up, missed it short. Giannis gets it back, and he slams it down with a two-hand jam as he rocks the rim on another dunk.
Our coverage starts tonight at 6 on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm Julia Fallow. Your top story, remembering a former Bucks player after his passing.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure, expecting a House budget bill vote.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, still dealing with an accident northbound 41 just before Burleigh, off on the right shoulder. Got some backups all the way back to Blue Mound Road. Southbound side slowing from Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, watch for delays from North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Northbound side slowing from the high-rise bridge all the way up to Keith. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow you can see the sun, 53 inland, 45 at the lake will be your high. Right now it's sunny and 35 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, breaking news, Bucks player and franchise minority owner Junior Bridgman has died. He was doing a local interview with a Louisville-based station, WLKY, at a fundraiser when he suddenly told a reporter that he thought he was having a heart attack. Emergency crews were able to get him to a nearby hospital. Bridgman played 10 seasons for the Milwaukee Bucks before retiring and becoming a minority owner of the team later on. He was 71 years old. Coming up in just 5 minutes, we have Greg Matzik, who is going to be joining us to talk more about Bridgman.
And here locally, the clock is ticking on getting a real ID. This is the federally compliant license for people who are traveling through U.S. airports or visiting federal buildings. Federal Security Director for TSA Wisconsin, Mark Linvey.
Officers with the TSA at our nation's airports will start enforcing the real ID requirements at our ticket document checker positions. Individuals without a real ID would be delayed in going through our TSA screening process, and that delay could be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes trying to get through TSA security checkpoints.
You know you have a Wisconsin Real ID if you have that star in the top right-hand corner.
Coming up, which beer is the most popular not only in Wisconsin but nationwide? Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:04.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. There are 5 filing statuses you can use when preparing your return: single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, and qualifying surviving spouse. Filing status is determined on December 31st of the tax filing year. Each case should be examined to determine the most appropriate status within the tax law. Often, couples in the middle of a divorce believe that they should file 2 returns, but that is not always the case. If the divorce is not final on December 31st, you are still considered married. But there may be a situation where married filing separately makes sense, even if filing jointly gives a lower tax amount. Head of household can be a confusing status. 2 unmarried adults living in the same home may each be able to claim head of household on their returns in certain circumstances. Tax preparers will get the best results for you when asking all of the right questions. For more information on this tip and other tax tips, go to neogroup.net or stop in and see us.
Things are getting even cheaper at Fleet Farm during Chick Days, March 6th through the 12th. We've got the most popular poultry breeds, all at the best prices guaranteed. Plus, get great deals on other chickening needs, too, like 20% off Little Giant feeders and waterers. 40 pounds of Nature-Wise protein crumble is on sale for $16.99. And Kamek and Tamarack boots for the coop are all 25% off. Eggers, Leghorns, Reds. Now's the best time to get them during Fleet Farm Chick Days.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:06.
Which beer is the most popular across the country?
But I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
A German beverage review site called Coffeeness analyzed data from YouGov's popularity ratings and Google Trends across all 50 states to see which brews rank the highest. And it seems like a majority of Americans value their Miller Time. The Wisconsin-based beer was searched for the most in 30 states. The report found some regional trends, too. People in the Northeast were into a wider variety of brews, while those in the western states overwhelmingly favored Coors. As for the Southerners, they apparently like craft brews the very most.
But I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk, eve of NFL league year, and official free agent signing period. The Packers agreed to the terms with offensive lineman Aaron Banks and cornerback Nate Hobbs. And the Bucs post up in Indianapolis tonight against the Pacers. Coverage of tonight's game begins at 6 o'clock. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:07.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's AccuNet.com.
Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix-It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow, and in for John McCure, it's Toya Washington.
At 5:10, we want to get straight to breaking news about the Bucks player and franchise minority owner Junior Bridgman has died at 71, doing a local interview with a Louisville-based station, WLKY, at a fundraiser, when he suddenly told a reporter he thought he was having a heart attack. Emergency crews were able to get him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he passed away. Bridgman played 10 seasons for the Bucks before retiring and becoming a minority owner. We have Wisconsin's Midday News host, Greg Matzek, joining us on the Sighting Unlimited talk and text line. Greg, from what I've heard, he was a huge leader in the community. He touched so many lives.
Well, it's stunningly sad news to hear that Indiana's own, Milwaukee Bucks own, he played for the Clippers, but he was much more than just a basketball player, Julia and Toya. 711 games with the Bucks. Yes, he became a millionaire playing basketball, but he became a billionaire with his post-basketball work, owning restaurants, then becoming a bottler for the Coca-Cola Company. He was a smiling face in Milwaukee. I got to know him year after year playing in an annual MAC Fund outing. You always knew Junior was involved because he had a Chili's margarita station set up at Tuckaway Country Club for the annual MAC Fund outing. And he would go by and spend time with those who were working it. Owned a number of Wendy's and Chili's before selling off a little less than 10 years ago, but continuing his entrepreneurial career after his basketball career. A smiling face every time you saw him, and a terrible loss.
And I guess if you can give us kind of the highlights of his career as a Buck.
Well, simply put, his number 2 will never be worn again by a member of the Bucks. It's retired. There are not many numbers retired hanging from the rafters at Fiserv Forum, but Bridgman's number 2 is. You have to go all the way back. He was actually drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, but just a few weeks after he was drafted, he was sent to the Milwaukee in a very famous trade, maybe the most blockbuster trade in Bucks history, sending Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back to Los Angeles. He was part of that trade. He came to the Bucks and was a bit of a role player, but really flourished under Don Nelson during the first of his 2 stints in Milwaukee. Left to play for the Clippers for a couple of years, then finished his career with the Buck. 711 games played in a Bucks uniform. That was a franchise record until Giannis broke it in 2023. So very consistent performer, a wonderful teammate from those who I've spoken to, including the great John McLaughlin, who knew Junior very well, and just a remarkable career, again, both on and off the court, but a terrible loss today for the former Louisville Cardinal.
Yeah, and a tough thing for the Bucks franchise as a whole. WTMJ's Greg Matzek. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Great perspective.
Happy to do so.
It's 5:13 on WTMJ.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
So Sidney Moncrief, Bucks legend, joins us in studio. How did your NBA career prepare you for the boardrooms that you're in each and every day?
It doesn't.
Wow, all right.
I wanted to take the concept of entrepreneurship and put it with a different lens, the lens of literacy. We need to understand these principles of literacy.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Vita Hearing Care. They've made a difference in my life. They changed my life. I can hear better now, thanks to the incredible faux neck hearing aids that I have, and you can check these bad boys out, too. There's a very cool event coming up. It's a VIP lunch and listening event. It's free. It's March 19th at Mealy Cafe in Racine over the lunch hour. It's going to be very cool, but you need to reserve your spot. It's free. Call 262-800-1060, 262-800-1060. Let them change your life at Vita Hearing Care.
Your European experts at Fox World Travel are ramping up and busy as ever. With the trending spring and summer European travel season, Fox European experts mean you can maximize your time soaking up the warm weather, blooming flowers, and vibrant landscapes without worrying about your travel or missing a moment. Port hop along the Mediterranean with Viking or Princess, or design your own bucket list adventure with Insight Vacations. Visit us online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Your European immersion awaits.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
Well, we got an issue in the Zoo interchange on the ramp from northbound 894 to eastbound 94. Looks like it's off on the right shoulder. That's a violator being pulled over there, I think. Either way, it's a little bit of a distraction, so you do want to be extra careful. Southbound on 41, slowing from Appleton Avenue down to Capitol. Northbound slowing down from Watertown Plank Road all the way up to just before Burleigh, where there is an accident. It is off on the right shoulder. It's been there for a while, so just be careful with that. Otherwise, eastbound 94 slowing down from Hawley Road all the way to 35th. Westbound's backed up from 25th Street to Hawley Road. Northbound 43 backing up through the Marquette all the way up to Keefe. So give yourself time, especially past Fond du Lac Avenue. Looks like a parking lot there. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. You can see the sun. 53 inland, 45 at the lake. Thursday, partly cloudy. High of 50 at the lake, 58 inland. Then Friday, partly cloudy, breezy. Night storms are possible. 71 inland. Yay! 61 at the lake. Saturday, scattered showers are possible, mainly early, windy, a high of 57. Right now, it is sunny and 34 degrees in Milwaukee. .16 on WTMJ. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. I wanted to share this with you because for me, I always believe the child.
It's hard not to, especially in this circumstance.
Yeah. Court records say that some students who go to Metcalf School on North Avenue told their parents they didn't even want to go to school if they knew this one teacher's assistant was going to be in their room that day. Milwaukee Public Schools paraprofessional, 62-year-old Jeffrey McLean. He is now charged with 2 counts of child abuse and disorderly conduct. There was a pattern here, according to court records. It shows a teacher returned from her lunch and came into the classroom where he was, and the student said, quote, "He did it again." Here's what happened, according to prosecutors. They say in room 205 of Metcalf School, a 6-year-old was grabbed by this 62-year-old defendant, forced into a chair so violently that the child had a 3-inch cut on his upper chest and was bleeding. This teacher who was told he did it again by the 6-year-old, knew the student was telling the truth right away, not just because he was bleeding, but the teacher told detectives that she reported to the Metcalf School principal numerous times that this paraprofessional, Jeffrey McLean, was seen by her, according to these court records, punching and choking the students.
Pattern and reported pattern is what I'm hearing.
What? Okay, that's a deeper situation.
Yes.
That the principal was told about this. The teacher also told detectives, according to court records, that this guy takes the students for a walk after the alleged abuse, convincing them nothing was wrong or bad that had just happened. And then court records say he told them to lie about what happened if they had wound, if asked.
Okay.
2 more victims as well in this court record. Another 6-year-old told police in December, so 3 months ago, that he was on the playground at Metcalf School and was slapped across the face by him and left a bruise on his face. There's a bigger picture here. I mean, the first time in December. Come on.
First one, last one, period.
First one, so good. That's a great line, yes. Then a 7-year-old said just this past Thursday, so what was that, March 7th? March 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That he was in the classroom again and threatened a student saying, "I'll break your blanking jaw." So, Jeffrey McLean is out of a job as a paraprofessional with Milwaukee Public Schools and now faces more than 12 years in prison. So, the child abuse causing harm, that's 6 years each, which should be more.
You would think? You would think.
Right?
Yeah.
And the disorderly conduct, he could face up to 9 years behind bars. So,
if convicted.
Or 9 months behind bars, excuse me, if convicted. So he faces, possibly, if convicted, more than 12 years in prison. So that's really, really difficult. I don't know what to say about that.
I don't know. This is one of the things that for many years in my prior life, people would ask me, why do you bother reading the entire criminal complaint? And I'm like, it's one of those that you just, for me, I would have to, as I would explain, consume it, and then I could tuck it away. Processing it mentally, because if I didn't read it from beginning to end, my mind would then lay in bed awake trying to fill in the blanks. Like, I wonder what happened in this case, or I wonder what happened in this circumstance, or what happened after this point. So those are the things that, like, I couldn't compartmentalize. But if I read it, I could tuck it away. Now, chances are I probably should talk to a therapist about all of the things that I've read and seen over the,
I know,
almost
it's
27
so
years in the
difficult.
business, but it's one of those that that's the only way that I could consume it, report it, and then
This was a hard one for me to read.
It is a hard one.
It's 5:21 on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. I get a lot of questions about QC Kinetics treatments, people asking if they should consider it for their own joint pain. Well, here's how you know. If you answer yes to any of these questions. Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees or hips or shoulders or other joints, trouble sleeping or walking? Do you want to avoid surgery, a long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answered yes to any of these questions, don't wait. Call now. Call QC Kinetics and ask for your free consultation and learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can help you get lasting relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Hi, I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. If you save for retirement in a 401k or IRA, let me ask you, do you know how much of that money is actually yours? Or will taxes take a bigger bite than you expected? Right now, taxes are historically low, but with growing national debt and government spending, do you think they'll really stay that way? Many retirees are shocked to realize the IRS might be one of the biggest expenses in retirement. Here's the good news. You do have options. Smart tax strategies can help you keep more of your hard-earned money instead of handing it over to Uncle Sam. At Drake & Associates, we help our clients create tax-efficient retirement income plans so they can enjoy their wealth instead of worrying about it running out. And here's the catch. These strategies work best when you plan ahead. That's why I'm offering you a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you understand how taxes could impact your retirement and what you can do about it. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 right now to claim your free copy while supplies last. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Take control of your retirement today. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping you keep more of what you've earned.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Drakamp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit DaveDrakamp.com. Okay, Toya, share the photos you're taking right now.
So Arrowhead high school girls are headed to state again. They won last year, and I'm taking pictures because my younger one got to practice with the varsity to prepare them in the postseason. And she is, she's a mighty one. She's all 5'3" of her, but she will drive. Yes, she will drive the lane. She will challenge. She will take a charge. So it was pretty neat. All of a sudden I look up and I'm like, wait, my kid is on TV right now.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so there was that one girl that was also being interviewed.
Natalie Cuso.
Oh, and
yes.
You said she's a rising star?
She is a star. She heavily recruited during the preseason, during like open gym. There was some big name Division I schools coming to watch Natalie. Natalie is a force. And I promise you, it's so heartwarming to me as someone who grew up playing sports, but also in an era where sports really wasn't as heavily watched and supported for especially girls. And to watch the level of play that I get the thrill of seeing, it's so fascinating to me and just so rewarding to watch these girls. Yes, you're so invested. And so the state tournament is starting up actually on Thursday. So all the divisions will play over those 3 days through the weekend.
Okay, so when there's a headhunter watching, where are they standing? Are they sitting? Are they taking notes? Is there video? What do they do?
I think they sit on the side from what I understand that, and they show up and they have their full, like if it's Georgetown or if it's, like Louisville, like they have their full on uniform. They come in and watch the girls play and practice and
that would make me so nervous.
I know. I don't.
I could understand football because it's a little further to the side. You got the cheerleaders in the middle and the band, and they're in the bleachers. But you're in an enclosed room, and they're in their garb.
It was. I'm sure it was nerve wracking for her, but she is. There's several just fantastic female high school basketball players across Southeast Wisconsin. So if you get a chance to watch the WIAA women's girls, whatever we want to call it, you're young women at this point, state tournament, do so.
Would you be excited if the Bucks, if they had a WNBA team like the Milwaukee Does?
Yes, I would love it. We would be season ticket holders of the Does. I promise you we would. I promise you we would.
We should definitely do that. I hope one day. All right, time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. Dow down more than 1%, down 478 on the day. S&P 500 down 0.75%, down 42. NASDAQ down 32. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses, and all of us who live here. Sponsored by the original knowledge broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salasinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, last few months we have had a lot of newsworthy insurance-related events, regular stream of things that remind us of the importance of properly designed insurance programs. So give us your perspective from where you sit.
Sure, Vince. Thanks. Great to be here. It really has been a tough finish to 2024 and a very difficult start in 2025. A school violence event in Madison in December, a terrorism event in New Orleans on New Year's Day, the California wildfires, just a massive event for the residents and certain insurance companies. There have been some employment matters in the news here recently as well. Lastly, a cyber data breach impacting over 60 million students and teachers.
So, Jeff, for folks listening right now, what should their primary takeaway be from all this?
Vince, quite simply, a properly designed insurance program has never been more relevant, more important than today. If you're not getting good guidance and options from your insurance provider, or you're buying online, you're jeopardizing your assets, your business, maybe your future.
Okay, so families, businesses, why should they work with R&R Insurance?
We deliver thought leadership around asset protection. It's what we do best. We inform you of where the opportunities are in today's market. We work with you to best position your account, your company for review by an underwriter, and R&R can get multiple companies competing for your account. It'll cost you nothing to sit down and talk with R&R Insurance. If you're looking for a better insurance buying experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
Jeff Salazinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff. And you can get started online right now. Find out more at myknowledgebroker.com.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 5:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour, an unexpected passing of a former Bucks player.
And I'm Toya Washington in for John McCure, averting a government shutdown.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, slowing down westbound 94 out of the Marquette, pretty much all the way past Mitchell Boulevard. It's about an 8-minute ride there. On a good day, it's usually only 6. On the eastbound side, got some backups from 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange to 35th. Northbound 43, pretty much solid out of the Marquette all the way to Keefe. Southbound slowing down from about Kilbourne all the way down through to the KK River crossing. And then on southbound 41, slowing from Appleton Avenue down to about Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 32. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 45 at the lake, 53 inland. Right now, it's 35 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, this just into our newsroom. Bucks player and franchise minority owner Junior Bridgman has died. He was doing a local interview with a Louisville-based station, WLKY, at a fundraiser when he suddenly told the reporter while recording that he thought he was having a heart attack. Emergency crews were able to get him to a hospital and treated, but he did not make it. He was 71 years old. Bridgman played 10 seasons for the Bucks, more than 700 games before retiring and becoming a minority owner of the team later on.
UW-Madison is among 60 universities across the country in danger of losing federal funding if they fail to protect Jewish students on campus.
A letter sent to the school Monday warns of potential enforcement actions if UW-Madison does not fulfill obligations under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to protect Jewish students on campus. UW-Madison is the only Wisconsin university on that list. The letter comes almost a year after a pro-Palestinian encampment formed on the campus. Meanwhile, UW-Madison has 2 open Title VI investigations against it, alleging violations relating to anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A spokesperson for UW-Madison says the school will cooperate with any questions or requests for information from the department.
House Republicans cheered after passing a bill to fund the federal government through September, averting a government shutdown at the end of this week.
On this vote, the yeas are 217, the nays are 213. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
The bill now goes to the Senate after winning by a 4-vote margin in the House.
Ontario, Canada Premier Doug Ford has suspended a threatened 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S. In a social media post, Ford issued a joint statement with U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick.
Rather than going back and forth and having threats to each other, we have both agreed, let cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward.
The 2 leaders will reportedly meet in Washington Thursday.
The Trump administration says they're lifting its pause on military support and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Ukrainian officials saying that they signaled they'll now be open to a 30-day ceasefire with Russia if Russian officials agree as well. Ravi Agrawal is the editor-in-chief of Foreign Policy.
It brings us back to square one. Unless all sides agree that any deal that is agreed upon is enforceable and that you can't act with impunity afterwards, so much trust is now broken down on all sides. It's very difficult to see how you come back from there.
The president says he expects to speak with Moscow to okay this deal.
Could Airbnb hosts, especially around Lambeau Field, be the big winners during the NFL draft in Green Bay? NBC 26's McLeod Hagman reports from Green Bay.
Just steps from Lambeau Field,
Pack Shack host Jim Elm says he had no issue renting his property.
So I think location for us is kind of the selling point.
Elm says one of his return guests reached out right away when news broke about Green Bay hosting the draft, even though he also increased the price.
It was kind of a win-win. People have said we rented too soon, not a high enough price tag, but we're pretty happy.
Elm says he stands by his decision to rent his property right away, but understands why hosts are holding out for last-minute travelers.
Green Bay hosts the draft starting April 24th.
A Wisconsin high school athlete will be allowed to play softball after a temporary injunction against the WIAA.
The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty secured the injunction that will allow Macy Weigel to participate this spring. Weigel transferred from a tuition-based private school to Baraboo High School after her youngest sibling developed a blood disorder, which forced the family to make cost-saving decisions. The WIAA theorized the transfer was not caused by an extenuating circumstance, and an appeal of the ruling was immediately denied. The lawsuit challenged the WIAA's ability to exercise authority over public schools. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. On the college hardwood, the Badgers men get a break before the Big Ten tournament play in Indianapolis. They'll face either Minnesota or Northwestern Thursday. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Siding, and a whole lot more. Also, the Bucks really desperately need a comeback after 2 back-to-back losses. They face the Pacers in Indianapolis this evening. 6:30 p.m. is the tip-off there, and coverage starts right here at 6 p.m. after Wisconsin's afternoon news.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:36.
Things are getting even cheaper at Fleet Farm during Chick Days, March 6th through the 12th. We've got the most popular poultry breeds, all at the best prices guaranteed. Plus, get great deals on other chickening needs too, like 20% off Little Giant feeders and waterers. 40 pounds of Nature-Wise protein crumble is on sale for $16.99. And Kamek and Tamarack boots for the coop are all 25% off. Eggers, Leghorns, Reds. Now's the best time to get them during Fleet Farm Chick Days.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
He is Chief Meteorologist Brian Wisniewski. Hey, Brian, we were just admiring your promo, Toya and I.
Oh, the change of seasons one?
Yes. Did they make sure that you stayed just the same hue of tan? Did they make sure your highlights were on point? I mean, how did they manage this?
Well, I had to make sure my weight didn't fluctuate too much. That was the hardest. But no, and honestly, it was this took multiple years because last year we didn't get really any snow in the winter. So we had to wait 2 years. I think the spring was the first one we did, and then
Brian,
summer,
you look
and
great.
then
You look exactly
the same. No grays, no nothing. You couldn't drive 3 hours north to find snow just for the promo? I mean, that seems like a better use of time.
But then you got to be in the same spot, though. You got to be in the exact same spot, like you mentioned.
I wasn't paying that close attention.
No,
That's my bad. That's my bad.
It was the same spot. So you had you had the rain, fall, summer, winter. It was so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was cool. And Clark, who's in our promotional department, he does a fantastic job. But he's very much don't expect this to take 10 minutes. This is going to be an all afternoon event. So we had to do it 4 times. I'm glad it turned out. It's super cool. I like the idea. Sometimes, promos can get a little corny. I do think that one was done well.
All right. So did they have to mark on the sidewalk since there had to be this consistency that clearly I was not paying close enough attention to notice? Did he spray paint an X on the sidewalk or?
Yeah. So we did mark it, and then like the winter too, like the snow was covering up like half of the sidewalk, so we had to find that mark, and then the camera needed to be at the right angle and mark as well for it to all work out. But I'm sure Clark was getting a little too precise with it than we needed to do, but that's why he wins awards and stuff like that. So.
That's why.
I was just about to say, put that in for the Emmys. Definitely.
They are the unsung heroes of news organizations. Those promo people.
Guy.
Oh,
well, totally. You guys know, and
we know.
like our job is pretty easy. We could just stand there and just make sure we say the words right.
Exactly.
That's all we have to do.
So, Brian, did you see the breaking news about Junior Bridgman passed away?
Sad. Yeah, I mean, 70 at this age. What was 71? Was he?
Yeah, it doesn't feel
70,
old
71.
enough. It doesn't.
It
doesn't. Especially
he did
when you're such
a lot for the community too.
Yep. Yeah. 70's young in this day and age. And I mean, his impacts, I mean, as great of a basketball player as he was, which he was an even better businessman. I mean, the guy built himself on to be a billionaire. Sure, he was making decent money of the NBA, but not nearly as much as, the guys are making now. So what he was able to do with the money and the good wage that he did make was really incredible.
Yeah, and he was at a fundraiser. He does so much for so many different communities. All right, let's switch to the weather, Brian. Just take us home. Give us our 5-day.
Yeah, so for tonight, pretty quiet night, partly cloudy. We've obviously taken a step back with the temperatures. 34 for tonight. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 44 lakeside, 52 inland. Not as windy tomorrow, so that will be better. On Thursday, mostly sunny, 48 degrees, inland 56. And then for Friday, partly cloudy, windy and mild again. I think we get up to around 60 again in Milwaukee. Inland maybe close to 70. Going to have to keep an eye on some rain and storms that move in here Friday night. I think the severe threat is low, but it will be our first go at maybe some springtime storms.
He is Chief Meteorologist Brian Osnansky, the big kahuna on Channel 4.
The 2-year promo shooting meteorologist.
Multi-year promo shooting. Wow, you're a big deal. That takes a lot.
Julia, I can listen to you. Just keep going. No, I'm just joking.
Shower him with compliments.
Watch him at 6 o'clock. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Nice
Brian. It's 5:41 on WTMJ.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profiled the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes.
Brian Lathrop, school bus driver, coming his way, a semi-truck in the other lane, and it's creeping over the center line.
Tried to get around him, see if I couldn't avoid him, and he ended up going right down the side of my bus. I don't feel that I'm a hero. I did just doing my job.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care. WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContracting.wi.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? TriCountyContracting.wi.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContracting.wi.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi. I've been on this weight loss journey for about 4 weeks, and I've already lost 20 pounds thanks to my amazing team at Milwaukee Weight Loss. My wife's on board. Kathy loves it, and we are both feeling more energized.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a decision has been made in the Morgan Geyser case. She's connected to the Slumber Man stabbing.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
Her lawyer and family have been trying to get her released from the mental institution for years.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Let's get you where you need to safely with our Debbie Lazica. Hey, Deb.
Hey there, Julia. Northbound on 43. That's going to be solid, pretty much out of the Marquette all the way up to Keefe. On the southbound side, that's all cleared up pretty nicely, although you are going to see some delays from about Lapham down to the KK River, and once you get onto 4394. On the westbound side of 94, we've got backups from 25th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side, not too bad, a little bit tight right past 68th Street to Hawley Road, and then again right through the stadium. Southbound on 41, you got a couple of pockets of heavy traffic, one heading into Hampton, the other one heading into Capitol Drive towards Burleigh. I'm Debbie Lazica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast is sponsored by Dave Drakemp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. Visit davedrakemp.com. You can always subscribe to our podcast. Everything we do is podcasted. Text WAN. It stands for Wisconsin's Afternoon News. WAN to 855-616-1620. Ukraine is willing to accept a 30-day ceasefire with Russia after talks with the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Chris Baccia is an ABC News reporter with the State Department. Chris, can you tell me, how did they get to that? Because it was after hours of Russia shooting down more than 300 Ukrainian drones.
That's right, and there were 7 hours of talks today in Saudi Arabia between the Ukrainians and the Americans. Of course, this comes after what was seen across the world as a disastrous Oval Office meeting between President Zelensky and President Trump here in Washington. Now the two countries have gotten together to talk in Saudi Arabia, and they've come out of this meeting with some real solid deliverables. The Ukrainians and the Americans say they are ready for a 30-day ceasefire. Now, they are, of course, not the two parties in this war. They acknowledge completely that Russia will have to accept that. So what comes out of this meeting is Secretary Rubio, the American Secretary of State, says that the message is going straight to Moscow about this 30-day ceasefire possibility. And if the Russians sign on, we know the Ukrainians are ready to do it, and that the war would cease fire for 30 days under the joint agreement that the U.S. and Ukraine agreed to today.
So how soon will they talk to Russia, and for Russia to agree? How soon could that happen?
It's unclear, but the Secretary of State says as soon as possible, and he didn't set a deadline, which would have given us a little bit more clarity on, well, when does the U.S. and Ukraine expect an answer to that question? We don't know exactly. It has been reported that Steve Witkoff, the president's special envoy to the Middle East, who's been involved in negotiations on Russia and Ukraine as well, it's been reported that he's going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin and to bring this directly to him. The Secretary of State said it'll go through multiple channels and it'll be clearly delivered as a message from the United States that this is the American proposal for 30 days to cease fire, and in that period to talk about a larger settlement.
Is there talk about how soon President Trump may meet face-to-face with Vladimir Putin?
I think American officials think that's putting the cart a bit before the horse. They don't seem to be ready to engage in that question, but they also haven't said it isn't a possibility. They seem to be very open to it, and Secretary Rubio said that President Trump doesn't see that as any sort of concession, the notion of having a conversation with Vladimir Putin. So we know it's on the table. We know Saudi Arabia has been raised as a possible mediator. They've now mediated 2 critical meetings, the first one between the U.S. and Russia, and now this one between the U.S. and Ukraine. So a host is perhaps lined up in that sense, but we just don't know at this point if that would come at any time in the near future.
Is it somewhat a shock that we've gotten, as we all witness the president and President Vladimir meeting? Yes. How did we get? I guess it is interesting to me that we've gotten to a good spot to at least come back to the table. I guess, do you have any insight as to kind of what happened behind the scenes to kind of mend that fence between now and what we witnessed a week ago?
It's a good question, and diplomacy is all about carrots and sticks, and that felt like a moment where President Trump wanted to levy a stick against Ukraine with that public dressing down of a president in the Oval Office, something that we have never seen before in Washington. So we don't necessarily know how we got from point A to point B today, but we do know that the Ukrainians relented on some of the things that the President Trump was upset about. Pretty quickly he expressed gratitude and he pretty quickly expressed an interest in the minerals deal, which was at the heart of that conversation in Washington. It wasn't at the heart of conversations today. So the minerals deal is something that the Ukrainians have begun to play ball on a little bit more, it seems, and that seems to have made President Trump happy. Of course, after that Oval Office meeting, the U.S. ended its intelligence sharing with Ukraine, and it paused military aid. Now, that was unprecedented and something that would really represent a stick in the form of all of these negotiations and trying to push Ukraine to what the U.S. wanted. And we know after today's meeting that what they really want is a 30-day ceasefire. Now, as far as a concession given back the other way, the U.S. in its joint statement with Ukraine after the meeting said that they'll be lifting that pause, that intelligence sharing will resume, and that military aid will resume. So that is a significant development, perhaps even the headline out of this meeting today. The 30-day ceasefire is very much hypothetical because the Russians will have to sign on, and I don't know that any analysts think that that's likely. It's not impossible, but it will be a stretch for Vladimir Putin to agree to halt the fighting that he began in Ukraine. But the U.S. will resume its intelligence sharing, which it had stopped, and its military aid after that Oval Office meeting.
And Chris, can you just describe the 300 Ukrainian drones that were going into Russia, what they were doing, but were all of them shut down by Russia? Because it was escalating, and hopefully there's now a pause.
Yeah, these drones into Moscow have been something that the Ukrainians have used as a way to punch back. Early in the war, it wasn't something they were able to do, but their drone capability has been extraordinary, and Volodymyr Zelensky says it's among, or even perhaps the best in the world, and they've built that up through the war. This is a way for the Ukrainians to show that this is not a simply one-sided war. They've managed to actually take some territory in the Kursk region of Russia, which is the significant incursion that they formed. Although the territory that they've grabbed there seems to be turning the other way, as has been the case in this war. But this is a clear signal that ceasefire certainly feels like a hypothetical at this point, because Russia is firing on the Ukrainians and vice versa. So certainly the Ukrainians want to make it clear that as long as there is no ceasefire, they're able to fight. They're able to fight back.
Chris Baccia is the ABC News reporter for the State Department. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, so I want to talk about here in the U.S. Let's go here. Effective tomorrow, President Trump says he's going to double Canadian steel and aluminum tariffs. It'll go up to 50%. So in response to that, the Dow went down more than 1%, down 478, S&P 500 down 42, NASDAQ down 32. Now, in response, Ontario was going to charge 25% for more electricity. To Minnesota, Michigan, New York, they stepped that back. I wanted to know, how could all of this affect Wisconsin businesses? Lance Trailkill is a third-generation owner of All Metals Fabricating, specializing in sheet metal. He put it into perspective. He says his business has already been affected by last month's 25% tariff on imported steel and aluminum.
Most of our aluminum comes from Canada. The heartbeat behind is to have more self-sustained resources, meaning mills in the United States. But the reality is we have 4 mills for aluminum in the United States, and it cannot even produce a tiny fraction of what U.S. manufacturers need. And same is true of steel. We have quite a few more, but the U.S. could never support U.S. manufacturers.
Which is really interesting. And with more goods on the tariff list, he says Wisconsin consumers will feel the brunt in the end, and sooner than we may think.
What happens is the mills take that 25% tariff and they say, we're not paying that, we're just going to mark it up. So now it's, call it 30%. Then that comes to the U.S. distributors. So now it's 33, 35%. And then it comes down to the manufacturers to push and shove between the customers. And what happens is U.S. manufacturers' margins actually get squeezed. And then additional costs gets passed on to, the end consumer.
Again, the tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum is going up 50% starting tomorrow. President Trump said that he has repeated calls Canada to be absorbed into U.S. as the 51st state, and he says that he does not think a recession is going to take place. Bucks basketball is next.
These are your business